is also what's giving us a little weather action down to the south of us along what's called the beach line, 528. We got a whole lot of people out there. We're getting ready to watch the Artemis 2 historic launch. Well, they just got a good soaking. Line of storms time, but overall the launch weather officer tells us that we are trending towards getting that stuff to all push to the west the closer we get
okay,
to
guys,
launch window.
we got a little weather update here.
6:24 p.m.
Hope you can hear me. We are live. We're going to watch the rocket take off, hopefully later, 11:24 p.m. UK time. 2 hours 40 minutes time. The crew are on board now at the moment. They're waiting, doing their checks and whatever else they got to do.
That's not something that we saw.
There's been a bit of a weather update. They're concerned a little bit about the wind direction and the strength of the wind.
But so far today, on our first launch attempt, we're really enjoying some.
But it's still looking good. It's looking good. They have a 2-hour window where they can launch any time within those 2 hours, from 11:24 onwards. 2 hours, okay. So yeah, let's go on this journey together and see how it all goes. All right.
We'll send it back to the host desk.
See you in a bit.
Thanks so much, Daryl. Yes, we really like that, and we really like Rise and Lucas. So thank you for that. That was really cute. Okay, so again, here we are in the big box here. We have our full view of the rocket, looking glorious on there with, again, some clouds, but still weather is good for launch today. And then we have the closeout team continuing to do work in the White Room. We got confirmation that they have successfully completed pressurizing the counterbalance pressurization. Basically, as Daryl explained it before, the side hatch for the crew module is very heavy. So in order to open it, there needs to be pressure applied to it, and that's what we just completed, right?
Right, that's exactly it. So the CBA, that counterbalance assembly that we're talking about, has to be pressurized. It's a pneumatic system to help. So in the case of an egress, you know, Christina's the one that has to open that hatch. So once she gets it unlatched and unlocked, then that pneumatic system will help move the hatch. It weighs.
Yeah, so it's all looking good, guys. Looking good for liftoff.
Open that hatch by themselves, and so that's why we want to make
sure
that the system is pressurized.
Love it.
That it's not going to leak, and that it is ready to go in case they need to open the hatch.
So that is complete, and now what is happening?
The chat is open if anyone wants to leave anything in the chat. Phil, you're welcome to do so. We can have a discussion on here about what's happening.
And we will.
The hatch door is closed. Apparently, they're locked in, ready to go.
For about a minute, and just make sure that.
They're just getting the pressure right. Again, so we're listening to what they're saying a moment.
The crew has a safe, pressurized environment in any sort of situation while they're in Orion.
Yep, that's right. So we're going to take a look at it. We're going to take a look at the starting pressure, and then after a certain amount of time, we'll take a look at the ending pressure, and then there are certain tolerances that we will accept for flight.
2 hours, 37 minutes and counting from the opening of our 2-hour launch window today at 6:24 p.m. Eastern Time. After liftoff, it takes less than 10 minutes to reach Earth's orbit. Let's learn more about today's Ascent profile with Gary in Mission Control.
Hey, Megan. We are monitoring here in Mission Control Houston. Flight controllers are looking at data from integrity in the Space Launch System during the countdown. We're looking at some of the events happening in the White Room now and just making sure that all criteria is met to commit to launch and Ascent today. It's the team you see in this room that would be looking after Ascent, which is a very dynamic phase of flight. And after solid rocket booster ignition of the Space Launch System, it's this team that takes over control of the mission. There are voices you'll hear upon ascent, calls being relayed between Stan Love, the Capcom you see here in this shot in Mission Control Houston, that's the voice from this room, and the Artemis 2 crew on a communications channel aptly named Orion to Earth.
Just seen a helicopter go by, helicopter circling. Looks like we're looking at mission control there. So.
After responding to the crew's successful roll-pitch maneuver at 30 seconds is AMT high. This notes that should we lose just one of the main engines, an alternate mission in low Earth orbit can still be achieved. At 1 minute 25 seconds, you'll hear max Q on PDL. This notes that reaching the moment of maximum dynamic pressure on the spacecraft. This event happens to be in line with a communication switch to another ground station, the Ponce de Leon Inlet Tracking Annex, located about 35 miles north of Kennedy. At 2 minutes 45 seconds, you'll hear SM primed upper stage RCS ready. This means that the European Service Module propulsion system that's prepared for the next phase of aborts after the launch abort system jettisons, and the reaction control thrusters on the inner rim cryogenic propulsion stage that enable pointing and maneuvering are ready. At 3 minutes 50 seconds, you'll hear voice check on TDRS at the Kármán line. At this point, the launch abort system has jettisoned and revealed the Orion capsule underneath. This check verifies that the now exposed Orion antennas have a good signal over the tracking and data relay relay satellites, which is part of the geosynchronous satellite network and the same assets that are used aboard the International Space Station. This communication switch happens to be at the Kármán line, a widely recognized boundary about 62 miles, statute miles, or 100 kilometers above the Earth's surface, where the air is too thin for conventional aircraft to fly and marks the point where our astronauts leave Earth and enter space. At 5 minutes 16 seconds, you'll hear the call 3-engine press. This notes that if one of the 4 main engines on the SLS core stage were to fail, 3 engines can carry the crew to a nominal main engine cutoff and proceed with the expected mission timeline. This is an important call that gives more assurance of continuing today's moon mission. At 7 minutes, you'll hear expect nominal shutdown. You'll hear this call should the main engine performance be as expected up to this point. Shutdown plans can vary and may impact G-forces experienced by the crew or future burn plans, but a nominal shutdown is more indicative of continuing the mission on the expected timeline. At 7 minutes 30 seconds, you'll hear AOA open. This notes crossing into a new abort profile. At this point, an abort would use Orion engines to escape the core stage, and the altitude and velocity are enough to make it one lap around the Earth and aim for a splashdown in the Pacific Ocean instead of the Atlantic. And then, of course, shortly after 8 minutes, you'll hear nominal MECO. You won't hear MECO right away. Teams here wait until the core stage has separated and the trajectory is confirmed as expected before that call to the crew. Now, this ascent profile is approximate, as there may be calls that move a few seconds depending on the trajectory, and of course these are the calls and times for a nominal trajectory. Teams in this room have been training extensively to prepare for any and all scenarios, and they are confident and ready to take this crew into space today. In today's pre-brief, the flight director Judd Freeling expressed his confidence to the team, citing the hundreds of simulations to prepare for this very moment. These are the calls you'll hear during Ascent less than 3 hours from now, but now we'll turn our attention to the countdown to launch and send it back to you, Megan, at the Space Coast.
Thanks so much, Gary. Now, one of today's 4 astronauts, of course, Canadian Space Agency astronaut Jeremy Hansen. Let's go now to Jasmine with her next guest.
Thanks so much, Megan. Yeah, we're joining you live now from the Operations Support Building here at Kennedy, where crowds are starting to gather, and we're honored to have Lisa Campbell of the Canadian Space Agency joining us. Lisa, Jeremy Hansen is about to make history as the first Canadian to venture to the moon. What does that milestone mean for your agency?
Thanks so much, Jasmine. It's wonderful to be here. It's such a special moment, both for our astronaut colleague Jeremy Hansen, but also for Canada. We're here because of decades of public investment in space robotics, in space collaboration, and so for our country, we're very proud. He's so ready. He's been waiting for this his whole life, preparing, training, and he's a wonderful example of Canada.
Yeah, and that's a perfect way to capture Jeremy. He really has been prepping for this his whole life. This will be his first space flight. So what has it been like watching him become part of this Artemis 2 crew?
Well, as I mentioned to you, I've known Jeremy since 2020, and he's a colonel, a fighter pilot, a father, and he really is a very dedicated, passionate human being. So both for him to realize this goal of being an astronaut and flying, he also is hopeful that witnessing that will raise awareness about the value of a space program, of the benefits here on Earth, of exploring the universe and our place in it.
Wow, that's beautifully said. And really, this international collaboration has been going on for quite some time now. We've worked together in low Earth orbit and now going into deep space together. So why is it so important that we have these international partnerships?
It makes us stronger. We can go faster and further together. Canada is one of the original signatories of the Artemis Accords, and Canada and the United States have been partnered for more than 60 years in space.
Wow, that is phenomenal, Lisa. And this really is a team effort in many ways. We also have Jenny Gibbons.
Yes.
She'll be listening in on Capcom. What is her role going to be like?
So Dr. Jenny Gibbons has been training all along as the Canadian backup with the Prime crew. Last night, she was in the Orion capsule checking out all of the communications, making sure all of the systems test out and work perfectly. And then she will be among the first Lunar Capcom, helping the astronauts navigate during their mission.
Wow, Lisa, that is so exciting. Any final words for the nation of Canada before today's mission?
Just, we are so proud, so excited, and we can't wait to welcome Jeremy home.
Fantastic. Lisa Campbell, thank you so much for being here today.
Thank you, Jasmine.
Of course. And with that, let's get back to NASA's Megan Cruz.
And right now,
go ahead. Ma'am, CBA press. Did you see any drop in pressure?
So we're going to listen into the crew now, the crew.
And MS1, we saw just a little bit. It is just over 2,600 now. Copy. Thank you, ma'am.
again, a call out to mission specialist Christina Cook. Again, it was her responsibility to monitor the pressure on the counterbalance system that will help open the side hatch. And she did report a drop in pressure, but it seems like it's within nominal limits.
Right. They might have had a small drop, but you know, we have a starting pressure and an ending pressure, and as long as the difference isn't too high, then we will take that, and the engineers know exactly what they're looking at for in terms of that delta pressure.
And so again, that milestone on the checklist of things that have to happen before they launch today, that is complete. The crew, again, still inside comfortably as the closeout crew team work to close the side hatch. Again, a separate seal leak check.
2.5 hours to go, guys. 2.5 hours.
Check, and then they will close the last abort system hatch.
Lots to do still in the White Room and marching down the countdown timeline well.
And so Bill, again, number 3 there, he is holding a silver flex hose. That hose is what will be connected to Orion in order to do that cabin leak check. So again, it does seem like we continue to march down through the milestones in this countdown. Hopefully lifting off today within our 2-hour launch window that opens at 6:24 p.m.
That's 11:24 p.m. UK time. 2-hour window opens at that time, but it could be all go for launch at that time, 11:24 p.m. UK.
All right, Megan and Nicole, yeah, you mentioned that checklist before launch. That checklist is going to continue during the mission, as well as there are several vital objectives that we are hoping to accomplish with this mission. So we've talked about the rocket. We've talked a little bit about Orion. Obviously, during Artemis 1, we
So let's tune. Sorry, let's tune back into this stream I got here for you. Listen to this, guys.
For launch, like you mentioned, they are out there making their way through that checklist. But these objectives are going to start now, and that includes safety. So one really great example of safety is going to be something called the egress baskets. they're out there in the spacecraft, obviously, and should a situation happen to come up, they are going to have something called the egress baskets they can get in, and those are going to zip line them essentially down to the ground within seconds to safety. Another great example of those safety procedures are going to be the LAS, or the Launch Abort System that I mentioned earlier. Just a reminder, that's the one that can pull the crew and capsule away from any danger within a few minutes of into the launch. Now, those are just a couple quick examples, but our recovery teams have been training extensively, quite a lot, to make sure that they are ready and prepared for any challenging situation that could possibly arise. All right. Several other objectives that we are going to be looking at are also going to be communication checkouts. That is going to be vital. I know we talked a little bit earlier about all the maneuvering that they're going to be able to do, but we want to make sure that they have full communication ability from space to ground so that we can fully support them here. We are also going to be checking out those life support systems. Obviously, we've talked a lot about the service module and what it is going to do for the crew, but we want to make sure that those life support systems are fully functioning, obviously, before we send them farther into deep space. That's going to be critical for them. So on top of being able to maneuver the spacecraft and check everything out, we are also going to be making sure that everything is fully functioning. So as you can see, big part of this mission is to make sure that the spacecraft, the hardware, and all the operations are working, and that the data is going to make sense. And speaking of recovery, we are also going to have the opportunity at splashdown to recover that launch or that flight data, and we're going to be able to take that back, analyze it, and make sure there are if there are any enhancements we need or changes we need to make before our next missions, we'll be able to do so. So lots to do. They're going to stay very busy, obviously. And with that, I will turn it back over to you, Megan.
2 hours, 25 minutes and counting, and the crowd, check it out, continues to grow at our Banana Creek viewing location. They will have a great...
What a name that is, Banana Creek. Banana Creek. I wish we had a Banana Creek in the UK. It sounds wicked, that does.
From the Space Coast, but we actually have quite a few people who have traveled a pretty far distance to be with us today.
It's 21
I'm
hours.
joined here by a group from the International Space Station Ambassadors Program who have come from all over the globe. Saku, you're here from Japan. You've come, Val, from Mexico, and then we have brother and sister Cosma and Jesco here who are visiting from Germany. You actually told me that you participated in the NASA Rover Challenge in Huntsville. How was that experience, and how is it kind of participating there in Alabama and then being here today?
So it is an amazing experience because you meet so many young people with visions, with dreams, with ideas, which inspire you and motivate you. And it's even better to be here now to see the SLS launch because we are going back to the moon, and that's what we're working for.
Absolutely. And, you know, the Artemis missions, we talked a lot about the Artemis Accords and this being an international effort. You were actually telling me, Saku, that you're interested in becoming an astronaut with JAXA, pursuing your PhD to be able to do that. Tell me a little bit about that.
Yes, actually, I applied for the Japanese Aerospace Agency, the astronaut selection, like 2 years ago, and then I didn't make it all the way, but I'm still working on it, and hopefully I can be at the launch pad sometime, and then I hope to go back to the moon and Mars, and yeah, I'm working on it.
Absolutely incredible. And Val, you're here from Mexico. We were talking a little bit about women in space. This is a team who, you know, is predominantly made up of women. What is it like knowing that Christina is on that rocket right now, about to be the first woman to travel around the moon?
I think that's such an amazing news. It's just so inspiring that we are taking the first black person and also the first woman to the moon. It's just the first step in humanity and a big step in equality as well.
Megan, a lot of excitement here, not just in Florida, but from around the globe, and we're keeping our eye on that rocket, and we're ready to see it lift off.
Thanks, Leah. Yeah, a lot of excitement, but also a lot of inspiration. Again, this is part of, or a big part of the reason why.
130.6.
Good readback. Aux 1 voltage, 131.3.
I copy 131.3.
Again, those numbers you hear, they're referring to specific steps in the launch countdown that the crew have to step through in order to get us to launch today. And so we were saying, yes, inspiration, a big part of why NASA does what it does. We want to go together and we want to explore together to learn more about ourselves and here on Earth.
Yeah, humans, I think, naturally want to explore, and so going together, like Lisa said earlier, we're going to go farther and faster than we possibly can alone. And you know, what a way to celebrate that today.
Yeah.
Going back to the moon in the first time in over half a century.
And we have that great shot there in our small box of the rocket on the pad, and at the very top there, our Artemis 2 crew. Right now, we know that the crew has begun. The closeout crew has begun doing that cabin leak check. So they are currently pressurizing the cabin, and it sounded like it would take about 6 to 8 minutes for them to get to pressure, and then they have to hold that pressure for 5 minutes, right?
Yes, that's correct. Yeah, so there's quite a bit of volume. You know, we talked about it being a 6-person tent. I think it's 330 cubic feet. Don't quote me on that number, but you know, they have to pressurize that capsule, and then, like we talked about, take that initial pressure, wait 5 minutes, and take the second pressure.
Yeah, and then it takes about 6 to 8 minutes again to depressurize the cabin. So this process will take a few minutes.
Ascent switch configuration complete.
OTC
I'm back.
copies.
Thanks
Thank
for
you.
your patience, guys.
And then after the cabin leak checks, then they will finally close the last abort system hatch. So again, chugging along in the countdown, really excited to, again, continue to hear the crew's voice inside Orion, stepping through all the procedures.
Yes, it's exciting to hear them making progress, right? It's all good news hearing the crew talk to the ground and working together to get to the launch.
And what I think is really cool is that this is the first time NASA is going to have astronauts in low Earth orbit, but also in deep space at the moon. So here's a message from some of the crew aboard the International Space Station right now.
Hello, Megan, and a big hello to everyone around the world counting down together to the launch of this historic flight test. If we weren't in microgravity, we would also be on the edge of our seats.
Here on the International Space Station, all of us are honored to have the chance to wish our fellow explorers Godspeed. Throughout human history, the moon has sparked our imagination, curiosity, and wonder. With our return to the moon, we're not only going to be learning about its history, the history of our solar system and of our planet, but also about our place in the cosmos.
We are so proud of the Artemis team and so excited for what you will see and learn on behalf of all of humanity during your trip around the moon. As we push the boundaries of exploration and expand our knowledge with scientific discovery, we advance our collective civilization together as one.
Test flights are crucial to the mission of exploration. We all learn in test flight schools that the more challenging the missions are, the more incremental the tests should be. This Artemis 2 mission is one more increment on the way to further exploration.
Thank you to the crew, our friends, for your dedication. And from the entire Expedition 74 crew, thank you to all of the teams.
Okay, guys, I just want to butt in there a second. What was I going to say? The countdown is continuing. 2 hours and 18 minutes to go and 30 seconds. And I just want to say that I'm not asking for any donations or anything on this live feed. All I'm asking is that you hit that thumbs up button for me, guys. Hit the thumbs up. That's all I want. That's all I'm asking for, okay? Enjoy.
Artemis 2 is our return of humans to the moon, flying around the moon on board Orion. But along with that, we're doing a lot of great science.
One of the exciting things about the Artemis missions to the moon is that science is actually a fundamental pillar of why we explore, why we're going, what we're doing in Artemis.
I think it's incredibly exciting that not only are we testing the vehicle, but we're testing science on board. Science where the astronauts are conducting experiments, science riding along with the astronauts. We have astronauts looking outside the window and really observing the lunar surface.
It will help us understand the deep space environment. It will help us understand how that environment affects our astronauts, our systems, and life in general.
So deep space is a challenge for us because you have to leave Earth's protective magnetic field. Here in low Earth orbit, the crew members are protected from some of the harmful radiation. going to the moon, they'll no longer be protected, so they'll have a higher radiation exposure.
Much like Artemis 1, we have so many radiation sensors and detectors that are inside the capsule so that we can fully understand and appreciate the radiation environment for protecting our astronauts. In my hand here, I'm holding a tissue chip model. This is the exact design that's going to be flying alongside the astronauts. We'll be collecting samples from each of the crew members, and we can make these organ chips out of the astronauts themselves. So every crew member will have their own avatar on board, and then upon return, we can evaluate that deep space radiation environment and what that compares to the astronaut themselves. Not only are they going to help change the course of medicine for the astronauts, but revolutionizing that on Earth as well.
We're looking at sleep, we're looking at team dynamics.
Yeah, just bear with me a moment, I'm trying to sort this out. Okay, I think I fixed the problem. Back to that video now.
Back room, where it's basically our brain trust of lunar scientists and geologists supporting the crews of the future. And Artemis 2 will allow us to really test how this works so that future missions are really set up for success.
We'll also be deploying some CubeSats. They're small shoebox-sized spacecraft of their own. They're each provided by another country, one of our partners. As they conduct their research, they'll complement what we are doing at the moon with Orion.
It is so incredibly exciting to be a part of this mission.
It has been, really one of the privileges of a lifetime.
I can see the work I'm doing benefit crew members right now and benefit the crew members in the future. So it's incredibly exciting and it's very rewarding.
As this rocket launches humanity off of the Earth, we'll be setting the stage through our science to prepare humanity to leave Earth and explore the solar system.
And what we learn during this and future Artemis missions to the moon will eventually get us to Mars. Here's Jasmine Hopkins again, now with Nikki Fox, Associate Administrator of NASA's Science Mission Directorate.
Thanks so much, Megan. Yes, we're back on the balcony now, joined by Dr. Nikki Fox. Nikki, in this nearly 10-day mission, we are covering a lot of science from CubeSats to tissue chips. What are you most looking forward to learning?
Oh my goodness. I think for me, the most exciting thing is actually being able to interact with the crew while they are flying, doing this historic journey on the far side of the moon. They are going to be seeing pieces of the moon that no human eyes have seen before, which is really spectacular. It's going to be an interesting trajectory. Some of it is in darkness. Then at the terminator, so in darkness, they'll be able to look for like impact flashes and things when micrometeorites pummel that poor moon. And then at the terminator, they can see shadows and interesting things, which kind of gives you depth perception. And then, of course, in the sunlit, picking out everyone's favorite craters. Also, if we launch today or tomorrow, they will see a total solar eclipse from the Orion capsule. How cool is that?
That is very cool. We are thrilled for this Artemis 2 crew to be able to see the moon in a way that we've never seen before. What is so unique about that far side? Why are we going there?
I mean, honestly, it's just, it is unique. It's very different to the near side of the moon. The actual sort of terrain, the morphology, it's very, very different. And so it will be very exciting to see that as we're going past that.
Absolutely. And Nikki, we are performing a lot of science at the moon this year, actually, not just Artemis 2. Can you speak to the commercial lunar landers we're planning to send?
Yes, we are very, very proud of our commercial partners as they take our payloads for us to the lunar surface. And very excited. Next one up is Blue Origin's Blue Moon Mark 1 going. It's got some science on it. It's got the scalps that went on the Blue Ghost. lift, so we'll be able to sort of look at that plume as it's coming down onto the lunar surface, and then also the laser retroreflector that will be the array that's up there too. So even on that first test flight, packing it with science as much as we can.
Wow, Nikki, so much science. It's hard to keep track of everything. But the unique thing about Artemis 2 is we're sending crew. Can you speak to the importance of the human element of science?
Absolutely. I mean, we can program, like we do with our beautiful rovers on Mars, we can program them to do certain things, and it's what we think we need them to do. When you have an astronaut up there, they can make that sort of like really unique split-second decision. The thing I'm most looking forward to is when they think they're going to be looking here, is hearing one of them say, "Oh my goodness, look over there." And I think that's just incredible about how we do that. Also, flying our tissue chips with the astronauts, our Avatar experiment. Here we go, Avatar.
Wow, look at that.
And that's got the tissue chips samples that matched to the crew, so we'll be able to monitor the effects of microgravity and radiation on that human tissue as we prepare for more and more missions to the moon for longer and longer durations, and then off to Mars.
Wow, Nikki, so much science ahead of us, but first we have to launch. Thank you so much for being here today.
Thank you so much. Go Artemis.
Oh, of course, go Artemis. And with that, let's turn it back over to the countdown with NASA's Megan Cruz.
Nikki is so fun. She has so much energy and so much passion about the science. And again, yeah, it's just so important to remember that so much science is happening with this mission. It's not just to test out the hardware and the life support systems.
Yeah, you saw the science video, and then we talked to Nikki. Man, there's so much going on, right? We talked a little bit about the lunar observations that we're going to do. And then, she talked about, made a really great point about, the human eye can pick things out that, that a camera or a robot can't necessarily pick out. And so that's why we're sending humans. But also, we're not just doing the lunar observations. The Avatar, that's a really cool experiment. They took blood samples from the crew, and then they used those stem cells to make bone marrow and create those little Avatar chips, which is feels like scientific, sci-fi movie stuff. But, we're going to look at radiation. We're going to look at all sorts of different scientific experiments. We got the little CubeSats. We're going to go look at space weather. Lots going on.
Yeah, even collecting some of the astronauts' saliva. You can learn a lot about the body through the saliva. So just really a lot.
Did she say space weather?
In a small capsule.
I didn't know there was any weather up in space. I thought it was just like nothing, what I mean?
And so again, her
a blank canvas, as it was. But she said about weather.
Oh my God, I can't find the words. So
wonderful,
awesome. I don't know why I couldn't find the word. So anyway, yeah, just really again, thank you.
Does that mean it rains in space? I don't think so.
What about answering more questions?
Let's do it.
Okay, great. First one. What was the word I was trying to get at? No, I'm kidding. Let's have the first question up on the screen now. I know we got him. I see him being asked.
And CDR OTC or Earth 1.
Go.
For your awareness, scrubber cycling is about to be restarted.
He said go then, go. Imagine being on the rocket, sitting on the top of there, and then someone says go. I'll be like, oh no, not yet. I ain't got my seatbelt on yet, mate. No seatbelt.
All right, let's try that again. Can we get the next social question, please? What are the G-forces experienced by the Artemis astronauts during launch and re-entry?
Ooh, these are actually pretty similar to, a Dragon launch or a shuttle launch. We have to accelerate to get out of the Earth's atmosphere, and then, we talked about the secondary burns that they will do to get away from Earth, but for me personally, it kind of felt like we got slingshotted off the Earth is how I like to describe it. So, you get set back in your seat and the G forces are into your chest.
CDR OTC or Earth 1.
Go ahead.
When leak check complete, the cabin is going to be vented to flight pressure momentarily.
Integrity copies.
That's fantastic news.
Yeah.
Again, so the spacecraft is holding pressure as expected, and so now they will depressurize it, which will take about 6 to 8 minutes. Exciting.
Yes. Yeah.
Go ahead, Nicole.
Like we talked about, continuing to.
It's looking good, guys, for liftoff. Yeah, the only thing that could put a damper on this is the weather. They were worried a little about wind coming in.
Often they have to back off on the thrust a little bit.
Possibly
so that,
too strong,
you don't get too
but
high
it's
in the
2-hour
G-forces.
window. There's
And
an
especially as we go
80%
through
chance
max
though
Q,
that
that max
the weather's going to be
aerodynamic
fine.
force,
So
as they get through
that's
the
pretty
thicker
good,
parts of the
really.
atmosphere.
So
And then very
within
similar
2 hours,
G-forces on the way home.
if there's
So
a cloud
steady
around,
build
they
up
don't
to
want to
about
fly
4,
through
4.5
clouds or
Gs as
anything
the
like that.
rocket
If
actually
any chance of a
decelerates.
strike
You
of
know,
lightning, they don't
packages,
want to take
when they
off
come back,
when
they're
there's
gonna be
any
going
lightning
7
around.
miles a second.
But at the
And so
moment,
you
it's
have to slow
looking
down
good. It's looking
somehow,
really
and
good.
to do that, you have to actually, you know, when you brake in a car, you feel those G-forces. And so for the astronauts, it'll just be, again, into the chest based on the orientation.
Great. Thank you so much for that answer, Nicole, and for that question. We're going to continue to try to take as many as possible. Again, you know how to send them to us at NASA Artemis. But now we again have another question for you, for our audience. We want to know, what part of Artemis 2 are you most excited for? Liftoff, Earth views from Orion, lunar flyby, or splashdown?
Lift
Tell
off.
us again on NASA's Instagram or Twitch accounts, and we'll share your answers a little later in the broadcast.
That's a tough one. I don't know what my answer would be.
I know. I don't know either. I'm excited for it all, but that's a cop-out. All right, now let's head back over to Banana Creek. Again, the crowds there, really excited. People
Banana
coming from
Creek,
all over
Banana
the country,
Creek.
from
What a
around
name,
the
what a
world.
name
Why
that
don't we
is.
get another check with Leah Martin to see who she's caught up with now?
Well, Megan, we were a little while ago talking to some students from around the globe. Today, we're actually talking to some local students who are from right here, locally, Merritt Island in Titusville. We talk a lot about the Artemis generation and about the students who are going to become the next generation of dreamers, of engineers, of scientists and technologists. And I'm actually standing with a group of those students here today. Our local high school has actually implemented a really neat new program in the spirit of being able to create these pipelines for employment and engagement. Can you tell me a little bit about what Merritt Island High School is doing?
Sure. Well, this is a new program, first of its kind here at Florida, and basically what we're studying is astronautics and aviation, kind of blended the two together. We have flight simulators in our lab, but students are also learning about engineering, aerospace engineering, and we're trying to make all kinds of pathways available for them, trying to give them opportunities to see which pathway they might want to be interested in. So, yeah, just a great opportunity for them to learn about space. We just finished doing a whole model rocket build where the students took CAD software, developed their own rockets, put them together, and launched them right from our school. So it was very exciting.
Incredible. And then another local high school, Titusville, you guys also have a similar but slightly different program.
Yes, we do space mechatronics with advanced manufacturing, preparing students to build and manufacture things to automate, do automation to build things on Mars and things like that, or locally too.
Now, you told me that you're actually trying to figure out a little bit what you want to do when you're done your freshman in high school. What things are you learning in your class here that are really kind of tweaking your interest in the aeronautics field?
So we're building a lot of things with like metal and how we're supposed to do it on the rockets. We're also doing computer programming, which would help with NASA and like programming and coding.
Absolutely. And you were actually telling me that I think were telling me that you're interested in becoming a pilot. We talked a little bit about the pilot who is on board the rocket right now. How is this program preparing you for your future?
I mean, it's teaching me everything that I know about aviation, and it's really inspiring that I get to learn it in a classroom, like locally as well. It's amazing. I love it.
And then you were also telling me you're taking this class. What's the most interesting thing you've learned?
I really like the whole design part of it, like actually like engineering, like because I want to be an engineer. Engineering the products we use when we build stuff. That's definitely
engineer. We got loads of those new ones, haven't we? Doctors and engineers and everything. Maybe we can have a space program and go to the moon, you know, with all these new
I can also say
engineers
that they
we've
have
got
fans.
over here.
Nicole Ayers here. As soon as that girl said that she wants to be a pilot, Nicole went. Yeah, why is that something that's so thrilling for you to hear?
I mean, I love when kids in high school have goals and they set their goals high and they want to go do something. You know, the kid who wanted to be an engineer or a pilot, like, I love that. You know, find something that you're passionate about, go work hard at it, and go get good at it.
Yeah, and speaking of passion, I mean, we definitely have a whole bunch of people here passionate about what NASA is doing here. Again, the lawn behind us just filled with media from around the world, making sure that they can help tell our story to everyone who is interested in hearing it. So Back here in Florida, of course, we have NASA leadership also keeping a close eye on launch operations. Let's go now to Jasmine Hopkins, who is standing by with Lori Glaze, Acting Associate Administrator of NASA's Exploration Systems Development.
Thanks so much, Megan. Yeah, we're honored to welcome Dr. Lori Glaze to the balcony now. Lori, this is our very first time having crew on an Artemis mission. How does that feel, and how does that change our overall approach to the mission?
It's a really good question, and it really came home today when we were watching the crew walk out, and then we saw them get into their van and go out to the pad, and we've been watching them getting into the crew module. And so we've really put an enormous amount of rigor into assuring the safety of our crew. One of the most important things on this mission, different from Artemis 1, is we now have environmental controls and life support systems. One of the most important things
Mr. Mzungu's in the house. Mr. Mzungu's in the house.
Keep our crew healthy and safe throughout their mission. We also on this mission have an activated launch abort system, which we had the system for Artemis 1, but it wasn't active. But we definitely had that active on this mission. We want the ability, again, if something goes wrong, to be able to have that ability to abort and get them back to the ground, again, safe.
Absolutely, Lori. I mean, as you're driving home, safety is paramount here at NASA, and your program is responsible for all of these Artemis elements. We have the Space Launch System, Orion, ground system. So how do you get everybody cohesively on the same page for a day like launch?
And that's a great question, and it's really been wonderful to watch our teams working together. We have the ground systems, which are kind of the bookends of our mission.
Yeah, I'm good, mate. Yeah, I'm really good. Thanks, Mr. Mzungu. How are you? Are you all right?
Right now, and getting the crew into Orion, and then at the back end they'll be there to recover the crew when they land in the ocean. But they know that their job is to make sure that that rocket is ready to go and that the crew module is ready to go. And then the rocket itself, the space launch systems, they know that their job is to deliver the crew module to the right.
I'm up for it, Mr. Mzungu. I'm up for it. Whenever you are, mate. Just give me the word. Give me a couple of days notice, and yeah, I'm right up for it.
And set them up to land in the right place in the Pacific Ocean, and that's their job, and they know how important that is. And they have to work closely with Orion, which again, they also have to work with all the other teams to make sure that everything's working together. And then on top of that, our flight operations teams, all the people on the ground, they're all working together. They know.
Yes, I'm up for it. Yes, let's go.
Every single part of the mission works.
Right. Lori, there are so many things that have to work together today. We can't wait to see what happens next. Thank you so much for being here.
It's my pleasure. Thank you.
Of course. And with that, let's take it back to the countdown with NASA's Megan Cruz.
Yeah, and speaking of the countdown...
Oh, less than 2 hours to go now, guys. Less than 2 hours.
Until the opening of our 2-hour launch window at 6:24 p.m. Eastern Time. This is a shot of Jetty Park. It's a nearby popular viewing location of rocket launches, and it is so great to see how many people are here. I mean, this is a Wednesday. Like, people had to take time off of school and off of work, but it's something that they felt like they wanted to do, to be here.
Yeah, you know, I think just based on the chatter on the airplane ride yesterday, half of my airplane ride
oh, no
here
way,
was
really?
They were coming to see the launch. You know, everybody's excited and traveling from all over the world to come see this launch.
And it really is a great day. We had some sprinkles here in the crowd, but for the most part, I mean, it's just a beautiful day to witness history.
It is, yeah, you know, a little bit of sprinkles, but for the most part, the clouds are staying away, and you can see the blue sky behind us, so hoping for good weather in a couple hours.
Absolutely. And so Dr. Lori Glaze mentioned what we learned from the Artemis 2 mission helps pave the way to sustained human presence on the lunar surface. So what are the objectives of this mission to eventually accomplish that? Let's check in with Gary in Mission Control for more.
Thank you, Megan. Yes, the Ascent teams are here in Mission Control Houston.
I got a question for you guys. So, Artemis 2 is the name of the whole project, yeah? But what is the name of the capsule which the crew are actually sitting in right now? The capsule right at the top of the rocket. What is the name of that capsule? See if anybody knows. Aha!
lunar landing missions. NASA has identified an extensive list of mission and flight test objectives that serve as a checklist to verify the capabilities needed to land humans on the moon. For the Artemis 2 mission, there are 5 overarching priorities that cover the mission and flight test objectives. First is, of course, the crew. As the first crewed mission inside the Orion spacecraft, this mission serves to demonstrate the capability of safely sustain the flight crew throughout the mission, including launch, the deep space component, and return. Number 2 is systems. This mission brings it all together to validate the performance of all ground and flight systems needed for a long-term lunar campaign, from launch infrastructure to spacecraft operations in deep space. Third is hardware and data. We'll be gathering performance data as much as possible over the Deep Space Network, but we also aim to retrieve onboard data and hardware after splashdown to gather additional insight and improve future Artemis missions. Fourth is emergency operations. The crew and flight control team will be testing emergency systems such as abort procedures, rescue operations, and contingency responses. During the flight, astronauts will rehearse a number of these procedures to ensure that in the event of a real emergency, the planned procedures and operations are sound. And finally, there's subsystem validation. Engineers will be verifying subsystems across the board to ensure reliability across life support, propulsion, avionics, and navigation systems aboard the Orion spacecraft. Human spaceflight is a complicated endeavor that requires precision and confidence across all disciplines. You may hear the phrase, human spaceflight is the greatest team sport, a few times in today's coverage, and it's absolutely true. Not only does it need mastery of specific components, but the integration extends across thousands of people and facilities around the world to come together and make it all work. A lot of the work from many people
Geo just commented, wild camping is for free.
Humans on board, ready to put everything we worked
Hence
for
the
to
name.
the test. I'm certainly excited about it. The teams here in this room are looking forward to supporting the mission, and I hope those watching are as excited as we are. We are following the countdown here in Mission Control Houston. Everything continues to look good. Now inside 2 hours from the beginning of the launch window. With that, I will send it back over to you, Megan and Nicole.
Hey, Gary, thank you so much. We are getting word that the launch team is working something that we would like to give you an update on, so let's get on over to Daryl.
All right, thank you, Megan, and we are live in Firing Room 1 here at the Launch Control Complex. Yes, we are currently not working any constraints with regards to the rocket or the ground systems, but the launch team has been made aware.
It's 21:30.
The Eastern Range here uses in order to send a destruct signal to a rocket in case it veers off path. So it's a very critical, important safety component in terms of how the range keeps the public safe here. We understand that the flight termination system, they're working an issue. And so as they continue to work that issue, they've asked for some assistance from the launch team to help verify some of the work that they're doing on their FTS system. And this is where it gets a pretty unique situation here. The assistance they've asked for is to verify what's going on with their system. They want to check it to see that the work they're doing is okay. And in order to do that, the FTS console operator inside the firing room has been asked to help them verify it, and the way that they're going to do that, and the solution that he proposed to check and verify the system with the launch director, and she gave the approval, is to go get a piece of heritage equipment from inside the VAB that was used during the space shuttle program. And this equipment is able to receive commands by the range through the flight termination system. And so with this piece of equipment, this console operator who works FTS was granted permission to go and go over to the VAB next door and get this equipment that he's very much aware of and used during the space shuttle era. And so that is in work right now. The bottom line of all this is, at this moment, the range is no-go. But that is not stopping us from moving forward in the countdown. We can continue to process and work the countdown. The closeout crew will continue to do their work, and the launch team will continue to do their work as well. But we'll keep you updated on what happens in regards to, as far as my understanding goes, a pretty unique situation here with trying to bring resolution and kind of help out the situation that we're seeing at the range right now. And that's the latest here from the firing room. I'll send it back to Megan and Nicole out the host desk.
Thank you, Daryl. Yes, very unique, but I think it speaks to the ingenuity of this team, right? To say, hey, we have this equipment at the VAB. Why don't we leverage it to try to solve this issue and work it?
Yeah, what a great example of human creativity, right? We know this thing exists. Let's go solve this problem. We have time, you know, like Daryl said, we're going to continue to march down the countdown. So we'll continue to get the rocket and the crew ready, but we still have that 2-hour window. So in the meantime, let's try to figure out what's happening with the range. And
speaking of the range, what is the range for people who might not watch rocket launches with us often?
Sure, yeah. So anytime that you launch a rocket, you have to clear the airspace, right, in the launch corridor. So where the rocket's flight path is going to go, you have to make sure that that whole airspace is clear. And so we actually have assets, you know, the Space Force helps us out with this one, but, you know, we want to make sure that there aren't airplanes in the way and there aren't other, you know, maritime assets in the way or things like that. So that there's a whole group of people. We talked about, actually, Gary said it great, right? It's a huge team sport, and so there's a whole group here on the ground that is monitoring that launch corridor to make sure it's clear and ready to go. And so if they're having issues, then we definitely can't launch this rocket. We don't want to launch blind into a corridor that we can't see.
Yeah, because as Daryl said, I mean, it is very important, the flight termination system, needing to activate it in case of an emergency. So yes, something that we will closely be monitoring throughout the countdown. And
yeah, Gio, I watched
Dan
Tomo this morning. Yeah, it was interesting, wasn't it?
Going to
good.
The heritage hardware that's in the vehicle assembly building.
Right, what a great idea.
Okay, so again, under 2 hours from the opening of our 2-hour launch window, 6:24 p.m. Eastern Time. The crew, as you can see there, inside of Orion, relaxing, getting updates from the team, but also just getting in the right headspace for hopefully launch today. Let's learn a little more about each of them now.
The moon, to me, it's the thing that connects me together with all the other humans in my life. I remember being a little kid lying in bed at night and just looking out at the moon in whatever phase it was in, and I was thinking, man, my friends that live like 20 miles away, they can probably look out and see that same exact moon. And then when I was in the Navy and I would look out at the moon and I'd be halfway around the planet, I would think, man, my brother can see that moon where he is and he's halfway around the planet from where I am. To me, it's a connection of life on Earth. We can all look up and see that moon, and it's always changing. The moon is never the same 2 days in a row. I love that. My name is Reed Wiseman.
But it looks the same to me.
NASA's Artemis 2 mission around the moon. I grew up in a little town just north of Baltimore, Maryland, about 20 miles north of the city. There was a National Guard base nearby my house, and there were A-10 aircraft that would fly over every now and then. I just would look up at them and be like, man, I want to be up there. I want to go do that. And then my brother went to the Naval Academy, and I would go every year and watch the Blue Angels fly during commencement, and that just started to grow and grow and grow. For a while, I wanted to join the Air Force, and then I realized Navy flies as well, and they fly from ships in the middle of the ocean, and that was it. Like, done deal for me. That is exactly what I wanted to do for my career. Flying is freedom to me, especially when you're in a jet aircraft coming off of an aircraft carrier in the middle of the Pacific Ocean. Nearest land is over 1,500 miles away. So when you come off of that aircraft carrier, you are truly just alone with yourself out there. It is a magical experience to be out there all by yourself in an aircraft over the Pacific. Just it's free. I think anybody who accomplishes something that they set their mind out to, there's no one thing that does it for them. It's a combination of everything. I mean, the way my parents raised me, the way my brother and I, the way our relationship developed over time, my friends, being in the marching band, going to college, setting my own course, learning how to live on my own, being mentored along the way, being, kept on the path to success, but being given the freedom to, make excursions and fail every now and then and regroup and carry on. I think all those things come together in the end to get you where you are. I've had to overcome, I'm a human being. I've had to overcome a lot of fears. I'm pretty scared of heights. I joked about that on the International Space Station, but it turns out I'm only scared like at the edge of a building. When you're up on the International Space Station, even though you're 250 miles up, I never had that feeling of falling or that I was, at risk up there. I just kind of loved the feeling of floating and looking down at Earth. There have been challenges all throughout my life. By far, the biggest challenge was losing my wife in 2020 to cancer and now raising two daughters who are grown up now, but that's been the biggest challenge by far I've ever had to face. It is not easy. Being an only parent, trying to work a full-time job, and raising two kids is something that I think about every single day. I'm very proud of the work I've done. I haven't always done it well, but I've always shown up and tried as hard as I possibly can.
I do wonder what it's going to be like when we are really far from Earth and can see it. The sensation of being so far away from everything that you know. I had that sensation on the space station the first time I got to sit.
Hello, Jack.
For a really long
Welcome
time.
to the stream, mate. Welcome to the stream. Good to see you're here, mate.
200,000 plus miles away. My name is Victor Glover, and I'm the pilot for NASA's Artemis 2 mission around the moon. When I was in 4th grade, I was 10 years old, and that's when the Challenger accident happened. And it helped me understand how the general public felt about the astronaut corps. Right? Like, these are the people that we want to be. And that just gave me an easy thing to strive toward. The biggest fear that I...
The thing with this mission, right, saying about that the Apollo moon landings may have been fake and everything, this time they're going to be using like proper like 4K cameras and that, so it's going to be really, really good footage, all being showed live, so we shall see, won't we?
But my classmates that I saw in the lab and around the University Union, I didn't know if I had what they had. I think addressing that self-doubt was a part of, swinging for the fence and trying to go get an engineering degree, not just go to college, but get an engineering degree and then go do something challenging and technical like flying. Apollo is known for sending humans to the moon. Artemis has an opportunity to continue the Apollo story, but I actually think it's important for this story to stand on its own. Artemis is a new program, and we're trying to do new things, and it's great to compare and contrast.
By the way, guys, the answer to the question I asked before about what is the name of the capsule on top of the rocket, it is Orion. Orion is the name of the capsule.
And I just think that comparing and contrasting makes the story even richer. The piloting role specifically, I will have an hour and a half or so where I get to fly the spacecraft by hand. We haven't flown that many spaceships. And so the ability to fly one actually in space on a test mission is just a really unique opportunity. I can't tell you how I'm going to feel when we fly by the moon and see the moon up close and the Earth from 250,000 miles away, but I don't use the word excited because I'm focused. What we do, this is very serious and it's very risky, and we are all intimately familiar with that risk. And so if we go out there and we're successful and we can pass that baton on to Artemis 3, that's something to really be excited about.
I tell a story, which is one that my dad told me before the
1
Apollo
hour,
missions,
43
he was just a
minutes
very little
and
boy.
counting.
He was looking up at the moon with his mom, and his mom said to him, "Don't worry, Ronnie, we'll never get there." Fast forward maybe 70 years later, it's his daughter that's actually going there. And I think that long arc is something that we can all learn from. The idea that the seemingly impossible becomes possible if you just believe in it and are willing to work hard and come together to achieve it. My name is Christina Cook, and I'm a mission specialist for NASA's Artemis 2 mission around the moon. When I look back at my dreams as a kid, I definitely never thought I would actually get here. I was very pragmatic. Even though I'm a dreamer, I knew that the odds were way against me again, so I might as well do something I'm loving in the meantime. I I definitely loved science and math in school and, did pretty well in those things, but I also loved being active. I was always outside. I loved things that made me feel small. I loved looking at the night sky, oftentimes between the pine tree branches, or I loved the ocean. North Carolina also has mountains, and when we go there, I just loved the vastness of all of those things. I loved how they made me feel and what they made me think about, and the vastness of the universe and how much out there was to learn. I'm drawn to exploring. I'm drawn to challenges that involve both mental and physical, and I'd much rather be solving problems wearing a whole lot of equipment and in a harsh environment, and that's just something I've carried with me ever since I was a kid. Thinking about the fears or challenges that I've had to overcome, there are just so many. I mean, basically, that has been the journey. I always say to people, do what scares you, and that means I have to follow my own advice. So doing what scares me meant getting on a plane and going to the Antarctic, getting on a plane and going to study abroad in Ghana, applying to become an astronaut, opening the EVA hatch in the airlock and going out of it into the darkness, strapping myself onto a rocket. And so for me, I think that no matter what the challenge, recognizing that if people believe in you and you believe they believe in you, the challenges seem always a little bit easier. To me, the moon, it represents history. It is a witness plate. Everything that's ever happened to the moon is still written on the moon. Every single person has looked at the moon their entire lives. We see the same moon. That's something really special. It's just the epitome of a symbol of something that's in each of our hearts, but that's also represents exploration and reaching.
I have this very distinct memory of seeing an image of an astronaut standing on the moon. It's burnt in my brain because I went back to it so many times in my childhood, and I would look at that image, and I know it had a huge impact on me that humans had walked on the moon. My name is Colonel Jeremy Hansen. I'm an astronaut with the Canadian Space Agency, and I'm a mission specialist on NASA's Artemis 2 mission around the moon. My elementary school years, I grew up on a farm outside of London, Ontario. I spent as much time as I could with my dad on the farm. I learned the value of hard work, for example. If I wanted to go to work with Dad, it was going to be a long day, and I was going to have to
just see
I
a
wasn't
tractor?
going to go the next day.
Tractor.
I had a treehouse. I had a vivid imagination. And I changed my treehouse into a spaceship. I made all these dials and controls. I had circuit breakers for switches that I found in the barn. And I was exploring space in my imagination. The most important thing I did to get to where I wanted to go in life, which was flying fighter jets and eventually becoming an astronaut, is I shared those desires with other people. And it turns out, just like you don't go to the moon on your own, if you could, I would have done it a long time ago in my treehouse as a kid. You have to go as a team. I think the biggest impediment to achieving my goals was, of course, myself. And I think that's a common human experience. There are many times where just little things would get in my way, and my immediate interpretation of that was, well, now that goal's out the window. You know, people must have lifted me back up, and somewhere in the back of my head, that persistence came through. And I think that's a common human experience, to doubt ourselves. I've come to this realization that I believe that we all have gifts to contribute, and the goal is to figure out how to use your energy towards adding positively to humanity's existence on this planet. But I love it when humanity sets big goals, like sending humans to the surface of the moon with an eye to eventually going to Mars, because when we do that, we can bring together genius from not just even in one country, but around the world. I've also learned from my indigenous mentors that they refer to the moon as Grandmother Moon. So you've probably heard of Mother Earth. They use Grandmother Moon because Grandmother Moon is responsible for the water in their community, just like the moon moves the water around the planet, affects the tides. And I think that's a really beautiful thing for us as we go back to the moon, to think about all the different cultures around the world and how they view the moon.
Captain Obes is in the house. Hello, mate. How are you?
1 hour, 38 minutes and counting until the opening of the Artemis 2 launch window today, 6:24 p.m. Eastern Time. And we are looking at the rocket and Orion out on the pad, historic launch pad 39B here at Kennedy Space Center. What a great view, Nicole.
Yes, it is. You know, we can see the clouds out in front of us, but they are to the west. And you can see that there's some blue sky peeking through behind that rocket, which is good news.
And more
Yeah, we need blue sky, guys. Blue sky.
Here, about a couple of hours ago, folks with special passes to come on center were allowed to start driving on with family and friends. And of course, we have media growing by the moment here at the press site here at Kennedy Space Center, setting up their cameras, setting up tents, interviewing folks. Again, this great jib shot that we have from our camera here showing all the interest that we have here at the press site. And actually, even to the right of us, so camera left, no, sorry, the right of your screen, left of us, plenty of other people there, set up with their own tents, broadcasting to their own viewers. And so again, just really cool to see everybody wanting to share in this moment.
Yeah, that's, I mean, how many media tents we can see from here. It's a beautiful thing.
Yeah.
I think it's important to share this message with the whole world.
Yeah. And so let's take a look now at people who are watching in other parts of the country. We have this shot here from the U.S. Space and Rocket Center in Huntsville, Alabama.
Oh, man, look
Just
at that.
kidding.
Hey, we're watching as well in the UK. Give us a mention then. Come on.
Sorry,
Come
hello
on,
to you
girls.
over there. Sorry, I thought that you were in Alabama. But here you are from Seattle, Washington. Again, the Museum of Flight. They must have had a special event to bring people there to watch.
Captain Obes, I am an astronaut tonight. That's exactly what I am, mate.
Rocket Center, Huntsville, Alabama. Of course, they would have a lot of people here, and I'm sure this crowd will grow when we get closer to launch. Marshall,
I'm going there. I'm going to the moon. Out there.
Yes. Yeah, this is a great shot. You can see all the people there, and obviously you've got quite a few artifacts in there as well. Oh,
now they
see us.
know.
Yes.
Yeah, now they know. They're on the broadcast. That's too funny.
Awesome.
Hey, listen, it's all right. We can sit. We can sit and chill until we wait for the opening of the window. No, there they are.
Yeah. Everybody's excited.
Thank you guys for showing us your excitement. I know deep down it was in there. It's just that you felt like sitting at the moment, and that's all right.
There's a little delay.
Yeah, that's all right. Well, thanks so much to those supporting these watch parties and bringing them to us live here. Actually, our video paths are taking quite a circuitous route to be able to bring those live views in from Seattle as well as Alabama, but we're glad that we can be able to share it with you in the broadcast now. And so why are we going to the moon? Why does NASA want to build a moon base there? Here's Megan Carter again with our moon board.
All right, thank you, Megan. Yeah, so we are right around that hour-and-a-half mark, hopefully for that launch. It's going to be very exciting. So they are going to have a few days to be around the low Earth orbit, and then they'll be heading on to the moon. So yes, let's talk what will be happening. Why are we going to the moon? So obviously this is not going to be a landing, as we've discussed. They are going to be coming with 4,000 to 6,000 feet around the moon's surface, and this is going to connect us directly to our past. Those Apollo missions did have 6 lunar landings, and the Artemis campaign is looking to build on that past by going back to the moon, staying longer, and then going farther. So how are we going to do that, and why? We have obviously talked a little bit about that lunar South Pole, and we are focused specifically on the far side of the moon for this one for a specific reason. You might have guessed we're going to be looking for some resources especially, and that's going to be water or water ice. That is going to be giving us some really critical pieces for future missions. And as you can see here, we have identified 9 potential landing zones. So this is
Don't forget to hit the like button, guys. Hit the thumbs up for me. Thank you.
When they launch, it will determine what is going to be visible, but we do have these 9 landing zones right here around the Shackleton crater. And as you can see here, a lot of that area is deep and dark, and that is where we are going to be looking for that water ice, because that is obviously going to give us not just water to drink, but as we know, that can actually be converted into our propellant potentially, that hydrogen and oxygen. So that is going to make the moon a critical place for that moon base, because we want to think of it essentially as a backpacking trip. If you have your tent and your hiking boots and your camping stove and all your gear, you don't want to take that out and be on the trail for the first day and then try everything out. You're going to test things out a little bit.
Did she just say, like, camping on the moon? Are you having a laugh?
And then also for going farther on to Mars in the future. It's going to set us up for that deep space exploration, and we can't wait to see what they see once they get to that flyby. But for now, we are, like I said, getting closer. So I'm going to turn it back over to you, Megan.
Exciting stuff. Again, the idea of accomplishing a moon base, like as we've been saying, sometimes things just seem like science fiction, and it's amazing that we're making it science fact.
Yes, yeah, we're going back. We're going to scout it out, and then on the future Artemis missions, we're going to put boots back on the moon for the first time in over half a century. But we're going to stay, and we're going to learn from the moon, and we're going to, you know, as Megan talked about, the water ice, and harness that resource, and, you know, not only learn from the moon about Earth and about the solar system, but also figure out how we get to Mars from the moon.
And so what we're seeing now back inside the White Room with the closeout team, they are removing basically fixtures that protected the crew module hatch while they did work around it, right, Nicole?
Yep. Yeah, so anytime that you're moving around and working, there are some sensitive sensors and parts of the crew module that we don't want to kick or bump into, and so it's easier to just put a guard up while you're working in there and then take it down later.
And so this is a visual cue for us that the team is getting ready to close the last hatch, again, the launch abort system hatch. Can you tell us about what the LAS is?
Yeah, so launch abort system, this is, you know, we have the crew module, and then what sits out on basically on top of the crew module is the launch abort system, and it has its own motors, so that we'll arm it about 5 minutes prior to launch, and then it stays with the crew module until about the Kármán line, so that 100-kilometer point in space. Once the crew could safely get to orbit, it will actually be jettisoned, and the crew module will then be exposed. So this is just a safety mechanism that stays on the outside of the crew module, and then as they monitor the attitude and the thrust and all sorts of the roll, all sorts of different data points to make sure the crew is safely getting to orbit. And once they are safely to orbit, then we will get rid of that launch abort system.
And it looks like they're putting all these parts that they're removing from around the crew module hatch into a bag, because they have to take this out with them once they leave the pad, right?
Yes, yeah, we don't want anything left up there in the White Room, and especially because that crew access arm will move away from the capsule and the rocket, and so we want an empty White Room, no FOD like we talked about, so that we can have a safe launch.
And this orange tube that you see on the right side of your screen, that had been inside the crew module providing breathable air to the crew. And now again, with the crew module closed and them getting ready to close the second hatch, that has been removed and is out of the way. So again, the closeout crew can continue to do their work.
Yeah, that's just a duct to provide some cooling air and some breathing air to the crew and the closeout crew while they're in there.
That's actually a good point, yeah. And so as we continue to watch the crew prepare to close the launch abort system hatch, why don't we take a look at the crew's mission patch? Now, crews have designed their official mission patches since the Gemini 5 launch in 1965. Reed, Victor, Christina, and Jeremy, they really wanted to play on the abbreviation of Artemis 2 to all, signifying not only the second major flight of the Artemis program, but also a mission to explore for all, by all. The crew chose the iconic Earthrise photo for a reason. It was taken by the Apollo 8 crew in 1968, the first crew to ever fly around the moon. The mission was to prove teams then were ready to land on the moon the same way Artemis 2 hopes to fly around the moon ahead of a lunar landing with Artemis 4. This time, as we've been saying throughout the broadcast, to stay on the moon and pave the way to Mars.
Yeah, we talk about incremental steps, right? And so Artemis 2 is very similar to Apollo 8 in terms of that increment. They're going to fly around the moon and set up the rest of the Artemis program for landing.
Yeah, guys, 10 days. 10-day trip it is altogether. Ooh, let's have a look. A bit closer. Where's your foot, man? Oh my god. I wouldn't like to sit in there for 10 days.
Unfortunately hidden by Reed's feet, but again, that is the orientation of the crew inside Orion right now. Now, earlier this week, the crew got to stick their patch on a wall just outside the suit-up room. We can play that video there now. You can see that crews have been doing this as part of a pre-flight tradition again. Wow, Reed just making sure that thing won't come off. And so now Victor is signing there. Followed by Christina. That's a fun mission, and your patch is up there too.
Yours is on the left-hand side there. It's a fun tradition. This is a really fun day too. They did this a couple days ago, but it's just another step that makes it a little bit more real as you're launching cities.
So guys, is
A computer there.
where I've got marked off there with a circle, is that the little capsule called Orion, or is it even or is it just that little bit on the very top?
Blank pages to take notes on. They might have
sorry, yeah, Captain Notes, yeah, it was low. I've turned it back up again now. I've turned it down for some reason. I put it up on full blast.
This mission, of course, built by people and companies in all 50 states, as we've been saying throughout the broadcast, and with our international partners as well. Let's take a look at some of the people playing.
You should be able to hear me okay.
Today's test flight.
What we're doing here is a collaborative effort of hundreds of thousands of people.
This is about the parts, the hardware, the software, the services, all coming together to make that mission possible.
My dream for this space program is that we would not just push the boundaries, but that we push them together.
And liftoff of Artemis 1. We rise together, back to the moon and beyond.
It takes a team to do great things.
It's 22 hours.
And Artemis has an incredible team.
We have international partners. We have commercial partners and industry partners.
Just one moment, I'm trying to sort of sound out.
Back to the Treasury 3 times. What is very important to me is that we do it the right way.
Yeah, that is as loud
and
as
that
it
we do
gets.
it with our values, that our industries grow, that our communities grow, that our families are healthy and safe and have amazing things to work on. Then we're going to build machines to go even further onto Mars.
That is our generation, the Artemis generation, that defines the starting point of our exploration future.
I just want to say thank you to all of the hands that have touched a part of this program and the hearts that have moved everyone to this
All right,
goal.
cheers,
as we're
Captain.
going to
Thank
the
you,
moon
mate.
And we're going beyond.
One team.
One team, one dream.
What I really like about that package is, again, just reminding people that this is spurring so many jobs across the country.
Yeah, across the country and across the world, right? The whole world has a part of this. The Artemis Accords are signed by over 40, 50 different countries, and so, yeah, we're
1 hour,
we're
22
taking all
minutes
the
to go.
taxpayers' money, and we're putting it right back into the jobs here in the U.S.
And the money, too. You know, when we have more disposable income because we have good-paying jobs, that's money that goes back into our economy as disposable income. So really, it is just an ecosystem that NASA is proud to be a part of.
Right. Not only is it about the money and the economy, right, but it's also about the science and what we're going to learn and exploration. You know, we, on top of all of those things, we benefit the economy as well.
Obviously, Nicole is a wealth of knowledge. We're very lucky to have her. We're going to be tapping into that knowledge throughout the broadcast, and we have been for now close to 4 hours. So thank you, Nicole. I hope you're holding up okay.
Yeah, I'm loving it out here. It's been great.
Let's learn a little bit more about Nicole. Her first mission to space was actually last March. She launched from here at Kennedy Space Center as pilot of NASA's SpaceX Crew 10 mission to the International Space Station. And what a beautiful launch that was. She spent 148 days in space conducting science experiments that could benefit us on Earth. For example, one studied the physics of liquids, which could help researchers deliver medicines more effectively. She also conducted an almost 6-hour spacewalk to help upgrade the orbiting lab's power system. Nicole is a lieutenant colonel in the U.S. Air Force and flew one of its most advanced aircraft. She was born in San Diego, California, and is a twin.
Captain Oops.
That's a cute photo.
What does that mean? You just become a member.
That one too.
Oh, thank you, mate. Well done. Brilliant.
Yes, that's so great to just see how far you've come. Again, I think that speaks to what we've been saying. Like, you know, just if you're passionate
Good
about
man.
something, go for it and see where that takes you.
Yeah, I think that's a great example. You know, I was a serious little kid with really high goals and, you know, just kept working hard and never got bumped off the path and ended up here. And it, you know, I
So,
think it's a
guys, up on
testament
the
to the human
top of this rocket, up in the little capsule, which is called Orion, we've got 4 astronauts. We've got Commander Reed Wiseman.
A theme for the team. The team has said the same. The crew has said the same.
Pilot
sort of things,
is
so
Victor
absolutely.
Glover.
Thank you so much for being here. And
Mission specialist is Christina
until lunch today.
Koch,
Artemis 2
something like
test
that.
flight will mark only the 7th
And we
time
got
NASA
Jeremy
astronauts will
Hansen
launch
is
on a
from
new
the
NASA
Canadian
spacecraft
Space
designed for the crew.
Agency.
And then controlling the flight will be Mission Control in Houston. Our Gary Jordan is inside with flight controllers. Hey, Gary.
So we got Canadian
Hey,
on
Megan,
board.
you are right. This is a significant milestone, and we may be putting the names of a few more astronauts in the history books today. The Artemis 2 crew is set to launch today. Will join a select list of humans to fly in a spacecraft for the very first time. And Artemis 2, like missions before it, is a test mission. During Ascent, the crew and the teams here in the room are prepared for a variety of scenarios. Some of these will be called out directly by Capcom's Stan Love during Ascent, and some are a little more subtle. These calls can be split into 2 categories.
Look at
Alternate
Captain
main
Obes
engine
with his
cutoff or MECO
brand new
targets
loyalty
and aborts.
badge.
First, there are 2 alternate MECO targets, or AMTs. These note milestones to give flight control teams and astronauts an idea of what would happen after that moment should the core stage lose one of the main engines. First is AMT.
I thought you were monetized ages ago,
Called out by the crew
Captain.
or Capcom, since this
You
happens
should have been.
right at liftoff. If the core stage loses one engine at this moment, an abort once
You're getting
around
told
option
off.
could
You're
be
getting
made
told
at
off
main
by
engine cutoff, meaning the crew could target
by
a
my
splashdown in the
Nightbot.
Pacific. The second is AMT high, which will be called out by Capcom's Stan Love around 22 seconds. After this
Deletes
moment,
your
if the
messages,
core stage
mate.
loses an engine, we can
It's
still
not very good,
pursue
is
an
it?
alternate mission in low Earth
Just
orbit
become
to
a member
accomplish
and
some
then
of
you
the
get
test objectives.
Then you get
and
deleted.
At about 5 minutes, 16 seconds into the flight, you'll hear the call 3-engine press. This is a good moment. After this point, if the core stage
Only
loses an
monetized
engine,
on Monday.
we can still make a nominal main engine cutoff and pursue a moon mission.
Well, that's a step in the right direction, isn't it?
Again, these MECO
I'd say that's the hardest part done, mate.
teams and crew
Once you
an idea
monetize, you
of what lies
monetize, you
ahead
know what I mean?
should one main engine be lost.
Now you just
But
got to
as
try and
soon
make
as
some
we are
money.
Otherwise continuing to a main engine cutoff target.
It'll come.
This differs from an abort, where the Orion capsule separates from
I know how
Space
hard
Launch
it is to
System
get
prior to the
monetized. It's
planned
not easy.
separation time.
I bet the
There are
hardest bit
abort
was getting the
options. At every
4,000
moment,
watch
that
hours. Huh?
integrity is attached to the Space Launch System, from the pad to more than 3 hours into the mission. During the first 8 or so minutes of powered flight, there are 3 abort options. First is the use of the launch abort system, which you
Anyway,
see at the very top of the rocket,
congratulations to
and here
Captain
in the light
Obes
room where
for
the
getting
hatches open and teams are
monetized.
working to close it.
Fantastic.
This particular abort
He said he only had 3,000 hours watch time.
at the pad through roughly
So how did you get
22
monetized then?
seconds
Did
into
you?
the
You
flight.
cheated.
Next
Yeah.
is an
Little cheat.
untargeted abort splashdown, or UAS. This uses Orion's service module engines to escape the SLS and becomes available immediately
You
after
little
the
cheat.
launch abort system jettisons. Third is an abort once around, or AOA. You'll hear Capcom Stan Love call AOA open around 7 minutes 30 seconds into the flight.
Mr. Mrzungu said it's going to take him years.
But the burn profile is a bit different to aim for a splashdown in the Pacific after one trip around the Earth. NASA's expedited recovery teams are staged off
Do you
the
know
coast of
what?
San
I'll tell you
Diego
what
to
now,
get to the
right?
crew
Just
and
one good video.
integrate
One
quickly
good
for this abort
video.
option.
And
An
you can
AOA
get
option continues to be
monetized with that
available
one
until
video, yeah?
solar arrays are deployed on the Orion service module a little more than 30 minutes into the mission. At this point, an abort to orbit, or ATO option, becomes available until separation from the upper stage around 3 hours and
okay.
23 minutes. Mission profiles can vary depending on when an ATO is executed in
So if
that
anyone's
window.
not done it yet,
Power being
pop
drawn
over
from
to
solar
Mr.
arrays
Mrzungu's
advises
channel
overtime for
and
astronauts
Captain
and
Obes'
flight
channel,
control teams
both on
to make
YouTube.
decisions
Give them a
when
sub.
to stay in Earth orbit, return for a splashdown, or continue to the moon. The Artemis 2 crew and flight control teams are well trained on all of these
Subscribe.
scenarios, and the calls you hear to the crew on Orion to Earth may help them be in a ready state for whatever challenge may come their way. At this time, we're not tracking any significant issues here in mission control in Houston, Texas. That would be showstoppers for today's launch. We're continuing to, of course, monitor the countdown along the way and make sure all systems are go for when we reach T0. With that, I'll send it back to you, Megan, at the Kennedy Space Center.
All right, we are ready for another reading if you are ready over there.
What are they talking about now on there anyway? I'm not even listening.
2600 PSI. All right, copy that. And you know, the more times we ask you to do that, the closer we get to launch, so that's a good thing.
Look at those flags flying. It's too windy. I think it's too windy.
Heard it there from NASA Test Director Jeff Spaulding. The more that they keep on asking her how the pressure is holding in the counterbalance assembly mechanism is a good thing, because it means we are
Fuck the
getting
counterbalance assembly. What's the wind
amazing
blowing
news
like?
over the
Is
loops
it
that
too
we just
windy or
heard
what?
on Orion to Earth 1, again, that communication channel with the crew. But now I want to get back over to Daryl with the launch team. He has an update now on the flight termination system that the team was tracking.
All right, thank you very much, Megan. And we're getting an update now from the launch team as we speak.
Better be a good update, mate. I'm warning you. If you abort this, I'm gonna smash my computer screen up. If you abort, I'm gonna smash my computer screen up.
Okay. Sorry about that. We're just getting an update, in fact, about what I was about to report out on the range. And the good news is the range is go. So we reported that they were working to verify their equipment.
Someone flying a fucking drone. Someone was flying a fucking drone in the field next door.
A little of that verification work to be done by one of the FTS engineers here in the firing room.
That's too loud.
He went out to the VAB to get some legacy hardware to help out with it. But in the end, this is a fix that the range had come up with to get clearance, to clear the range rather, and to as well work the FTS system. And so now They are
That's a
go.
good picture there. I
Range
like that
is
one.
Go. That is no longer a constraint. And so you combine that with the fact that the rocket and the ground systems here also working, no constraints. Clear board here.
Look at that for a picture there. That's good, isn't it?
So again, the range is green, and we're continuing to work through the countdown. We got a weather update that came in to the
Weather
launch
update
director from Launch Weather Officer Mark Berger. He reported out that there's still a little bit of feisty weather activity that's happening up in the Titusville area. That's the city neighboring the Kennedy Space Center. Those showers had passed over Kennedy, and then now they're currently over in Titusville, currently still within that mile kind of constraint of flight through precipitation rule. But we're still far enough from the window that it looks like it won't be an issue. And in fact, we're seeing some good sunlight now breaking through onto the launch pad. As you can see, it's actually shining on the other side of the rocket here. But to the west, we're starting to see some of that clearing that was forecast. And so the launch weather officer held his forecast for 80% go for flight during our launch window tonight, which, as a reminder, is 6:24 p.m. Eastern Time until 8:24 p.m. Eastern Time.
All systems go. Yay! 80% anyway. 80% weather-wise. That's good enough for me.
We're also hearing that the last hatch closure, as you can see in the bottom corner of your screen, they're starting to work on that. That's the launch abort system hatch. There are two hatches, the crew hatch and the launch abort system hatch. And the closeout crew that you see right there, right on time with their work as they go to shut. And you can see it in motion right now, that launch abort system hatch. That's the latest from the firing room. We'll send it back to the host desk.
Thank you so much, Daryl. Great news all around. And yes, we did just see them close the last hatch. And now we are looking at a live view of Banana Creek. Lots of people there. I'm sure
I love that name, Banana Creek.
The flight termination system has been resolved, and we are go for launch. Go for launch from the range, go for weather, and go from all of them, I would imagine.
Just over 1 hour to go, guys. 1 hour, 10 minutes.
And as Daryl said, you can start to see the sun poking out here, and we can see all the clouds are moving north and moving away from us. So it's all good news.
And so as we know, we have our Leah Martin down there at the Banana Creek viewing location, and she's standing by with some other guests.
Hey, Megan, I don't know if you heard that huge cheer just now. If you heard a big rumble, as soon as Daryl said that the range was clear for launch, everybody clapped. It was super exciting.
Yeah, I saw that one. I saw that, Miss Mizungu. I did watch it,
I
yeah.
have Hudson and Maddox, the son of brothers here. And I asked you a little bit earlier.
I reckon I've seen him in...
What did you say?
I've seen him in town as well. I'm sure I have. Down in Broadmead. Same guy.
You know, not a better way to celebrate right now. I asked you on a scale of 1 to 10.
Catch you later, noobs. Catch you later, mate.
Yeah, Bren, I'm very excited. Super excited. Yeah.
So, Megan, we've been watching the launch broadcast here and hearing some of the questions that you and Nicole have been asking and answering. And I actually wanted to ask these two kids, if you could take a 10-day trip around the moon and take 3 people with you, who'd you take with you?
Well, I'd take my dad and my mom. And, I mean, I don't know.
You're joking me.
I'd just say one of my friends.
What the fuck?
Yeah.
Why on my channel?
That was just what I was thinking. My dad and my mom and my best friend.
That's a pretty good answer. Your brother can get his own trip to space, right? So I'm actually joined here also by Dad. Now, you were sharing with me that a lot of the work that you've been doing over the last several months has been prepping the launch teams, our engineering teams, our ground systems teams.
Nightbot is getting angry.
To be mindful and to be in this moment, how does it feel to be standing here and knowing that the people you've worked so closely with are doing what they're passionate about, or doing what they were born to do?
You got timed down for 5 seconds.
An exceptionally happy moment for us and all of us and the people that are, about to take off on this historic trip here. And I'm grateful to know that we've helped in some way, shape, or form to help them stay steady and calm, in such an exciting time within the agency. And so to to just be here and witness it and know that, you know, they've got some tools to help them stay calm and steady is everything to us. So.
Fantastic. Well, Megan, we are standing by ready to go, and we're ready to cheer this team on.
Do you know that guy in Stapleton Road, who got arrested? I reckon I got a video of him also being arrested and put in a van. Down in the, you know, down in town, like the backside of McDonald's, on the main road there, between McDonald's and the Haymarket roundabout. I got a video of, I'm sure it was him, getting put into the back of the van by about 4 coppers.
3 or 4 of them to push that hatch door close, and then they felt
I'll have to see if I can find it.
Perimeter of the door to make sure that everything was sitting just right.
Right, yeah, we talked about how heavy the crew module hatch is. This hatch is just as heavy probably, and so, you know, they're working the closure here and working those connections, and you can see, yeah, there's still 3, 4, 5 people that we can see in the white room. It takes a lot of people to get this these hatches closed and this rocket ready to launch.
I'm interested now in those adult toys.
That this team will start closing out the white room.
Want to know why they're picking on me?
Disconnecting things.
I've never bought an adult toy in my life, I don't think. Well, not for me anyway. I did, yeah, I did actually. I did buy. I did buy one once. Not for me though.
Then at that point,
for a girlfriend.
Crew member Victor, Reed, Christina, and Jeremy by themselves at the top of the launch pad.
Yeah, and then eventually that crew access arm will move away, and then it'll really just be them up on top of that rocket.
Yeah, your eyes lit up when I said that. That's exciting. It is. It is.
Yeah, we had a moment, we talked a little bit about my fear of heights, but most of our crew is afraid of heights, and so there was a moment where I realized that it was just us.
Love Honey, never heard of them.
Some odd feet up and
no
crew access arm, and may or may not have said something that made everybody go, huh.
Were you wondering to yourself, what? How did I get
Love
here?
Honey.
We're pretty far up.
And Summers.
That crew again.
That gotta go in there and try them out, haven't you, before you buy. Try before you buy.
Is a live look for teams who are remotely watching these operations.
Do they take returns then on Love Honey? Can you return it after like 29 days or something?
The closeout crew starts leaving the white room. You see them checking their procedures.
You can see they're covering the ends of those.
Are they closed the door yet? Let's have a look.
That's to protect those hoses from
zoom in a bit.
So we don't want any dirt or anything to get into those while we transport them and stow them. So you can see Andre there.
Shut that fucking door.
Close out the hoses as
Where
well
we go? Let's have a look.
And so they'll tape that close. You just saw number 5 holding some tools. Again, we'll stow those away. You have to account for everything. Obviously, you know, they did have tools out. They did have procedures, paper, notes out. Like all
I think the door is closed, guys.
Yes,
the door is shut.
He's got a string
and it's just over 1 hour to go.
His suit there. That's, again, just
I bet they're shitting themselves.
If, you know, gust of wind or you get knocked or something, you don't want to lose a single thing in the white room. So everything is tethered, everything is accounted for, and everything is protected.
The crew now, another live view of them inside Orion. Jeremy, Christina.
Oh, they look really excited, don't they?
And Reed and Victor on the right side of your screen. What do you think they're thinking right now, Nicole?
Oh man, just over an hour to launch. You know, there's probably a little bit of a lull right now, monitoring some systems, but you can see Reed's got his feet crossed, so I think just trying to relax.
Yeah, move your foot out of the way. Who's that?
Maybe thinking
Who's that with the big feet? That's Commander Reed Wiseman, that is. Move your big foot out of the way.
Different jobs that each of them have throughout the launch, and once they get to orbit, you know, this first day on orbit is actually really busy for them. They've got, you know, 2 burns that they have to monitor. They've got to get the system set up, and they've got to get the cabin set up. So there's a lot going on in the next 24 hours for this crew. I think they've got a couple sections where they get to take a nap, but I don't think they get a full night's rest for quite some time. So,
yeah,
you know, going through what's next.
And so as we say that, I mean,
Yeah, what's next?
imagine what it would be like to live in a spacecraft for 10 days. Let's take
Fucking
a look at
horrible.
what
Stuck in there for 10
life will be
days.
like in Orion.
Artemis 2 is our first crewed mission back to the moon since the Apollo program. A lot of the focus of Artemis 2 is really checking out systems to be sure that we're ready and well positioned for continued human exploration. My name is Susan Baggerman, and I'm the Chief Health and Performance
So
Officer
apparently,
for the
right,
Orion
it
program
only
on the Artemis
takes
2 mission. And
10
this
minutes.
is
10 minutes to reach orbit. Reach space.
For this mission, the crew will launch
And when they come back into our atmosphere, they're doing something like 25, I think it was 25,000 miles an hour, man.
many of the different critical Orion systems, check out some of the
25,000 miles per hour.
how the crew would do that successfully within the volume of Orion. We also have, of course, systems to feed the crew. They have a potable water dispenser that they'll check out. And then we also have a food warmer, kind of looks like a suitcase that the crew can use to heat their food. They're also going to check out the flight wheel system. We'll have the crew perform some initial exercises. Part of that is to ensure that the flight wheel is actually working, but part of it is actually to be sure that our environmental control systems are actually working. For sleeping, the crew will sleep in sleeping bags. Some crew members like to be very
Are we nearly there? Are we there yet? We're nearly there yet.
free. They'll use the toilet for the first time and be sure that it's able to flush.
I bet somebody says it. If they were English, they would, definitely. If this was an English crew, somebody would. We got more humor, haven't we?
They'll also check out our radiation shelter. If we were to have
If it was me, I'd be saying it every 2 minutes, man. I'll do the reds right in 10 days. I'd be like, you're stuck with me now for 10 fucking days. We're nearly there yet. We're nearly there yet.
And so I want to talk a little bit more about what we just heard in that package. I am interested in the space food. So Reed, Victor, Christina, and Jeremy have a pretty big menu to choose from, so that's really cool. We're actually going to pull up a graphic now that kind of shows you some of the food that they're going to have
You'll
with
stick
them on their 10-day
Keir
journey.
Starmer on there.
We know
Chuck him out on the moon.
10 types of beverages. There's coffee, a mango peach smoothie, apple cider, lemonade. So those all sound delicious. And now I've just remembered I haven't eaten lunch.
They're actually not too bad. I actually have a mango peach smoothie with me today.
No way.
Yeah. So you can see they come in.
Look at this menu.
Little packets here, but
Oh, it's gone.
it's just kind of a dried powder that you add water to. So this would actually, you'd add 175 milliliters of water and let it sit for 2 to 5 minutes, and then you can stick a straw in it. You saw in that package they put a straw on the top septum portion there, and then you can drink it.
And so this is the packaging. This is food that you brought up with you, or that you had while you were at the ISS.
Yes, yeah. Actually, this is all food that we have available to us on the standard, what we call the standard menu on the space station. And so, actually, the graphic there showed quite a bit of the standard menu that they're going to take.
1 hour to go.
Yeah, let's pull it
space
back
food
up,
is space
actually.
food. Yeah.
1 hour 30 seconds.
We can use the food that we have been using. You know, our food lab at Johnson Space Center actually creates that food, and then they stabilize it and they package it for us and everything. So they do a really wonderful job out there. We've got different types of food. You know, you can see I've got this is a soup, tomato basil soup, so thermal stabilized. It's already hydrated, so you just throw it in that food warmer that we talked about, and then you can eat it. But then we also I have some shrimp cocktail here that's, you know, irradiated, so it's in a package that protects it.
When we take off, guys, I'll get rid of all the
we might, if you're
the pictures and all that on the screen, so we got a full screen, a full view of what's going on. Okay.
What we were saying here.
Are we there yet? No, we're not. We got another hour to go yet.
And then it's in this
You can go. You've just got enough time to go and watch EastEnders. In fact, you can watch 2 episodes of EastEnders and get back here in time to see the launch.
And you open it up, and then it comes right out. So these brownies are nice because they don't have a ton of crumbs, and so you can actually just eat it pretty easily in space. You know, if you imagine, that would not happen in space.
It
would not fall. But yeah, so we've got all sorts of things that you can actually eat. The menu's pretty good and pretty diverse on the space station. And then, as you saw, pretty diverse for Orion.
Nice. Yeah, that's amazing. And again, here's a look at the crowd that's starting to continue to grow here as we get
They
closer
didn't
and
even
closer to
mention
launch.
it's like
We're
1
now
hour to
under
go.
an hour from the opening of our 2-hour launch window at
Just saying it now.
6:24 p.m. Eastern Time. And so let's take some questions from social media. We haven't taken some of those for a while. You put that brownie away, Nicole, or I'm going to steal it. Nicole, we have another celebrity who submitted a question. Let's take a look.
Okay.
A quick question for the Artemis crew.
Who's that?
What food from Earth would you bring with you into space?
Baked beans, mate. Baked beans.
Because that's the greatest food.
Again, not really a question.
Yeah.
Because he was like, it's lasagna.
It's got to be lasagna. You know, there is lasagna on space station, and it wasn't too bad. Probably not my favorite food of all, but yeah, lasagna's not a bad option. It's a high-calorie meal. If you're trying to, you know, carb load for a spacewalk or something, it's a great option.
Yeah, I remember Christina saying that her favorite food on the menu, and actually, she was saying that she was getting in trouble because people kept on saying, you can't eat mac and cheese every day, Christina.
Because waves looks a bit windy.
You know, we mentioned the mac and cheese and brisket earlier. Man, I would put those two on a tortilla. That would be great.
That sounds delicious, delicious. Well, thank you so much, everyone, for sending in those questions. Everyone from a 5-year-old that we got a question from to all the way to Roy Woods Jr. there, a comedian. So thank you so much. And if you're just joining us, welcome to the Space Coast of Florida, where we are counting down to liftoff of Artemis 2. You see a beautiful aerial shot there of our rocket on the pad. For the first time in more than 50 years, we are sending humans to fly around the moon and back.
Oh, I've lost it.
And we're taking you all of you with us on this next chapter of human spaceflight. I'm NASA's Megan Cruz, and this is NASA astronaut Nicole Ayers. Great to have you here, Nicole.
Yes, this has been a beautiful day. Excited.
I've lost the
continuing
picture,
to
guys.
march towards this launch.
Yeah, and if all goes as planned, this crew could travel farther from Earth than any other humans before them and see parts of the moon no one has ever laid eyes on.
I gotta try and find it.
Yes. Exciting is an understatement, I think.
That's
you know,
true.
we're going to see the far side of the moon for the first time by humans in a long time. It's important.
And as the crowd again builds behind us, more activity that you're seeing here at the Kennedy Space Center press site. We also have a ton of people gathering around the world to watch this history-making moment. So let's take a look at those watch parties now.
Oh.
That crowd has grown.
That's not good, is it?
We checked them probably like 30 minutes ago, and it was half that. But again, as we get closer and closer to launch, we are seeing more and more people gather together,
we can have to listen.
wanting to experience this together and not just in a vacuum at home, you know?
Yes, this is so exciting. Look at all of those people. Man.
And now here we are back in Seattle, the Museum of Flight. Again, people gathered there to show their kid. We see someone walking in the second row there. His first crewed launch to the moon. How exciting.
That is exciting.
Hello, everyone. Oh, that's so great. And now let's get you up to speed on what's happened so far. Again, we are now within an hour of the opening of our launch window. So what has been happening so far today? Well, a lot. After waking up and grabbing a bite to eat, our Artemis 2 crew suited up inside the historic crew quarters, a tradition that dates back decades. Teams helped them into their custom Orion crew survival suits, and just like other crews before them, they gathered around a table for a card game to pass the time, but to also burn off any lingering bad luck before they walked in the footsteps of every NASA astronaut launching from Kennedy Space Center since Apollo 7 in 1968. They walked outside the Neil Armstrong Operations and Checkout Building to greet a crowd of family, friends, supporters before getting into their Astrovan for their security-escorted ride out to historic Launch Complex 39B. They got a close-up look at the SLS rocket, then walked across the crew access arm and climbed one by one inside their Orion spacecraft. After that, teams conducted final checks with the crew before closing both hatches.
I've lost a picture.
As well as what
It's 22:30.
Lost the pictures of that feed.
And now we are back live at the pad where the closeout crew is getting ready to leave the White Room. they are now tethered, Nicole, because they are about to move some pieces that connect the Orion spacecraft to the White Room, correct?
Yes, there's kind of what I would call a shroud. You can see them working that there. So it is actually connected, so that way the gap between the crew access arm and the crew module, and well, I guess that's the LAS there, is covered. But they're about to remove that so that the crew access arm is not connected to the rocket in any way, so that it can retract here in the next few minutes.
And for how we're looking with the launch countdown milestones, let's go to Daryl Nail in the Launch Control Center.
All right, thank you very much, Megan. And as you can see there, the finishing touches, as you've been talking about, to the LAS, which brings me to that subject, because we currently...
You could tell Gio is really excited about this.
Working an issue that was reported out.
Aren't you, Gio? So excited, aren't you?
There's an issue apparently with a battery on the LAS. The engineer who is in charge of the launch abort system,
I'm so excited.
Console here reported that a temperature for one of the 2 LAS batteries is out of range, and although it's not a constraint for launch right now, it would be when that temperature is checked inside of T-minus 6 minutes.
Hey, what happens if it just like explodes?
So right now the team is working some troubleshooting on this issue. Going to
they got ejector seats on her now. I think
they learn, but again,
they get ejected.
A battery temp for one of the 2 batteries.
I'd like to see how they work.
Out of spec, and the team is working to understand, first of all, whether or not this may be a sensor issue, or is there an issue with the battery itself. So again, looking into it, troubleshooting and researching as we speak. With regards to the weather, we did get some good news there. Launch Weather Officer Mark Berger reporting to the launch director that the weather chances have now improved for the window. We are up to 90% go.
90%.
Great news. Again, 90% go. That is up from the 80% that we started when we had the...
Looks like it's going to go, guys. It's going to go.
Come out officially 3 days ago. And so that is great. And for anybody who's here in the launch area knows that is certainly viewable. They can see that by just looking up. So we're getting some good clearing as forecast. And then just a reminder for those people who are watching the launch from the nearby area that if you're watching on an internet-enabled device, just remember that there may be a little bit of a delay. Can't tell you how much of a delay, but since it's on an internet device, you know, sometimes this broadcast might be a little behind what you're actually seeing. So
yeah, we know that already, mates. We're not stupid.
Are watching. Don't wait till the last second to run outside if you're inside your RV or your camper or your house. That's the latest here from the firing room. Of course, we'll keep track of that last battery issue. We'll send it back now to Megan and Nicole at the host desk.
Two of them there had to be tethered to the inside of the white room, because obviously now we have detached the White Room from the Orion spacecraft.
Yes, that view is quite something.
Yeah.
Oh, right, that makes more sense. Yeah, I've just read your comment, Mr. Mzungu.
An astronaut afraid of heights is actually not
the little pointy bit
today.
Shoots off,
but yes, so
and then that comes down on parachutes. I thought they had like ejector seats, and they all like ejected out like separately.
At 6:24 p.m. Eastern Time. Again, the closeout crew just finishing up those last couple of things they have to do before leaving the White Room and then leaving the pad, leaving only the 4 Artemis 2 crew members inside the spacecraft by themselves at the pad.
Yeah, and then we'll be curious to follow the battery issue on the LAS as well. I think sometimes it's just a sensor issue, sometimes it's a battery issue. So hopefully they figure that out quickly.
Mm-hmm. And so if we can take a shot of the crew inside the capsule, if one's available.
I'm going to leave this commentary while they're talking about for a while. I'm going to try and get their screen back. So
we have Artemis 2 Commander Reed Wiseman,
let's see what I can do.
Baltimore native, and he's actually
So just bear with me, guys. All right. Alright, let's have a look. Oh. Let's try that. Oh. So I think we're back, guys. Yeah, we're back. Any sound? No sound. Um. Working on it. Patience, guys. I'm trying to get the screen back for you. Working on it. Patience, guys. I'm trying to get the screen back for you.
Small portion of the people across NASA who have been supporting this mission.
Patty Ortiz, NASA Armstrong Flight Research Center, Orion program.
Orion. Kathy
and counting from the opening of our 2-hour launch window, and take a look at all these people behind us. I literally, every moment I turn around and I see the clock, I am like, oh, wow. Oh, wow.
There are more people and less time.
Yes, exactly, which is a great problem to have.
Yes.
Now, this first
It's 23
test flight of
hours.
NASA's Artemis program coincides with the 250th anniversary of our country's founders signing the Declaration of Independence. Exploration is a part of America's DNA, and it continues now with our return to the moon.
250 years ago, 13 colonies laid the foundation for the greatest and most enduring democracy in the history of the world. One driven by courage, faith, and freedom. From that moment, we became a nation defined not by where we stood, but by how far we were willing to go. We conquered vast frontiers, invented tools that shaped a modern world. We found light in the dark, and we rose from the earth. Faster, higher, farther. We pushed beyond the sky and into the unknown. We carried our courage into the cosmos, and we planted the American flag on the moon, the defining achievement of American superiority in space. Today, our curiosity stretches farther than ever. American robots search
I'm back.
rivers on
Hey,
Mars.
23 minutes to go.
To glimpse the first stars. And
Tony Sykes Media says, why bother with this? LOL. The answer to that question, Tom Sykes is, why not, mate? Why not?
Humanity forward. But American exceptionalism isn't inherited. It's earned. Our greatness comes not only from what we've done, but what we're still determined to discover. Because in every era, across every horizon, America is at its best when it's reaching for something greater. America celebrates 250 years, and we are leading the world into the future.
22 minutes and counting.
22 minutes, 15 seconds and counting from Artemis to NASA's boldest test flight in a generation. The crew has said this often, that they hope it inspires children around the world. And recently, a group of kids here at Kennedy Space Center got a surprise of a lifetime while watching that rocket roll to the launch pad. So tell me what color it is.
Okay, I've had to do that.
Okay, so everybody's looking at the rocket because it is kind of cool and impressive. One of the coolest things happening over there right now is it's on top
Don't
of the
get
giant
copyright. How's that?
Food come in like tubes. It's in these like plastic bags. You have to like rehydrate it. There's not. I haven't seen sushi in space. It's probably hard to keep that back.
Yo.
Sushi mashed together.
My favorite part was this one little girl, she had a question. She had patiently held her hand for a long time, and Christina turns to her and says, okay, what's your question? She just goes, I forgot. It was like, that's a perfect little kid moment. I just love.
Wait, are you my
Thanks for joining in, Tom Sykes Media.
Say that again? Never mind. It's really hard to say.
Tom Sykes Media. Have you got you've got a channel, YouTube, or anything we can have a look at? Give you a shout out. I just did.
The enthusiasm, the energy, and a little bit of chaos.
3, 2, 1. Wasn't that so cute?
I love kids and their excitement and, you know, even just being real. Like, I don't remember what I was
I know,
gonna
he goes, but I'm glad you're here. Now here we are, Space Center Houston. The crowd has exponentially grown throughout the day. We started showing you live shots from in there probably
Houston.
an hour ago, and now take a look at all the
Ground
people
control
there
to
getting
Major
ready
Tom.
to witness history together. It's something really special to be able to witness something like this together.
Yeah, you know, we've heard from celebrities and officials and kids, and, you know, it's amazing.
6 seconds.
People from all
I
around the
don't
world
care.
came here today to Florida to watch, so it's something, it's hard to put into words. just how much support for this mission we're seeing today.
And great news too. Remember, the team was tracking an issue with the launch abort system battery. They appear to have cleared that issue, so we are go for launch.
6 seconds behind.
It's exciting.
But you can let us know what happens then.
U.S. Space and Rocket Center here, Huntsville, Alabama, waving.
You got 6 seconds to let us know what is happening.
Inside Orion. Inside of 20 minutes from the opening of our launch window, and right now we are targeting
Geo
the top of that launch window.
is 6 seconds ahead of us.
In about 19 minutes, Nicole.
Wow, I don't know if I expected this today. I'm excited, and I'm glad they were able to clear the problem with the battery on the LAS, and everything has gone really smoothly today. It's been great. The weather cleared up. It's a beautiful day for a launch.
And so now, as we are so close to possibly launch now, just what are your final thoughts as we are about to embark on a mission back to the moon, the first time in more than 50 years?
Yeah, just so proud of the crew and all of the teams here on the ground that made this happen. They are carrying the torch from the Apollo era into the Artemis era. And, as the crew likes to say, they want to be the shoulders of the next generation.
Behind that.
And let's see, GLS, can you help us with that, please?
They want to be the crew wants to be the shoulders that the next generation can climb on.
001.
I think it's in their patch. We're going for all. It's in the name of their capsule, integrity, representing
Not long to go now, guys.
And the
I think
professionalism
I'm
of
gonna
everyone that
put,
got them there today. So proud of them. We love them. We're excited for
get rid
them.
of my little
and
stickers.
We cannot wait to see what they see.
Just leveraging everything we've learned so far as an agency, taking us from Apollo now to the launch pad here, 39B.
Ready to go.
With Orion and SLS poised to again fly us into the history books. And before we leave you now here at the host desk to get back into operations, we just wanted to answer one question for you guys. We asked you earlier on today, what are you most excited for? And we asked you to go vote on Instagram and Twitch. Instagram, you guys said launch. Twitch, you guys said lunar flyby. So I think you guys will all be very excited since we are now about 17 minutes from the opening of our launch window today. And so with that, as we approach terminal count, let's send it back to Daryl Nail in firing room 1. Daryl.
All right, thank you, Megan and Nicole, and just want to give you an update on the launch abort system that you just reported that they cleared. They believe, they're convinced this is an instrumentation failure. So there are 2 batteries on the LAS. The LAS, of course, and with the help of my 2-year-old son's model rocket, Daniel said I could use this, so it's okay. The LAS is right here. It's the tower above Orion. Orion capsule's inside of here. It's used to pull Orion off the rocket in case the rocket something's going on with the rocket, either on the pad or in flight. 2 batteries are bad. Well, I'm sorry, one of the 2 batteries reported an out-of-family temperature, and it was very much out of family. And so they checked their data going back into the vehicle assembly building where they recharged the batteries and worked on them. And they have good, solid data, they reported, that tells them that this is an instrumentation failure, that there's something wrong with the sensor. And so they took it before the mission management team, which has to accept the risk, any changes to launch commit criteria, which this would be one, and they all fully accepted it. So now we are clear as far as that constraint is concerned. And one quick thing as we count down now, we are getting into the final minutes before liftoff. There's a 2-hour window. We haven't quite set the T0 yet, but this is a list of the cutouts. There are 150 cutouts that are included for this 2-hour launch window, and that's important. They're in very small print. That's important because there's basically 16 minutes inside this window that they cannot launch, and these are because of
5 seconds now. It's coming down. 3 seconds. 5 seconds. Minus 5 seconds.
Back in Artemis 1, when we
Yay!
had 35 to 40
You be up
cutouts.
around the moon and back again before we even start me.
That for that reason, because of these 156 cutouts, they're going to be managing the launch window as we go forward. So they may have to wait out one of these cutouts. They range in time between 2 seconds to 23 seconds, but you'll hear the NASA test director talk through that. We're getting ready to merge that loop from NASA test director Jeff Spaulding.
Tony Watson says the battery vehicles are crap. Tony Watson says the battery vehicles are crap. It's not going to go on time, is it? It's going to go later, yeah, I reckon.
Channel.
It's not going to go on time, is it? It's going to go later, yeah, I reckon. I'll be back in 2 minutes, guys.
We're now entering one of the most consequential phases of launch day, and that's terminal count, the final 10 minutes.
And OTC, NTD on 212 for comm check?
Good, comm. How me?
I hear you the same. STC?
2.
GTC?
GTC is on 212.
All right, copy that.
NASA Test Director Jeff Spaulding confirming communications with his team. There will be 2 polls that we'll hear. One from Spaulding, the NASA Test Director, confirming the ground systems and the launch team are ready to proceed. At this point, we have a clear board, no constraints, but we need confirmation from each individual on the NASA Test Director team. So we'll hear him poll his team. The other poll that we're waiting for is the poll from Launch Director Charlie Blackwell Thompson, who will take that final status from NASA management before giving the go to come out of a hold. And you're seeing the clock count down at L minus 12 minutes.
CCL, OTC, Orion, RS1.
CCL.
Yes, sir. Reconfigure ARS primary loop ISO valves.
Copy, that's in work.
And CDR, OTC, Orion, RS1.
Go.
ARS loop ISO valves are being closed at this time.
Integrity copies.
Looks like we're good to go.
NGDLP.
Go.
Yes, I had a discussion with sea ice and with MER manager regarding the observation the sea ice had a few minutes ago. They were able to confirm with BCI photos that the condition that they observed has been there since 2025. MER manager has had a chance to review the findings, and they do not have any constraints from either a sea ice or MER manager perspective.
Okay. Copy all. And Launch Director, NTD, you copy?
Yes, sir. I copy. That's good news.
OTC, CCL 212.
OTC.
ARS primary loop isolation valve configuration is complete.
Copy.
Copy, copy, copy. Let's go. Come on.
And CGLS NTD, cancel pending, please.
GLS copies, and that's complete.
All right, and for all personnel, we got a little bit more work to do before we pick up the clock, and we're about a little over a minute from getting to T-minus 10 minutes. But we've canceled the resume time there, and then we'll pick it up after we get through all of our work and anything else that we need to do to get through the remainder of counts. So we'll continue working that to get to our T0 today. So when we get to about 50 seconds from now, we'll extend that hold.
CVSE OTC.
CVSE.
400-290, looking to verify that we are configured for Ascent.
Yep, give me about 2 more minutes. I'm going to start CMA2 streaming. Copy.
NTD, COSE, hold requested.
Copy that.
I have an LCC violation of O-CT-004.
Oh, no.
Transponder anomaly. This was a transient LCC violation, so transponder 1 had a demodulated SNR estimate that went down to 2 dBm. When it should have been between 10 and 13, it is now back up to 12, but we did lose that for just a moment. It does not appear that we lost our bit sync or carrier lock, which would be indicative that we lost our lock with the vehicle. So at this point, recommendation would still be go. However, we do have a pre-planned contingency procedure if we want to look at that. But again, this is transient, so we're back in a nominal range.
All right, let's see, LPE NTD.
Yeah, we're not seeing that hit, so I guess question for COSE, was that less than 3 samples? Is that below our persistence?
10 minutes to go, guys. 10 minutes.
Stand by, let me look. It did
Looks like
look
it's on hold.
It did persist for several seconds on mine, but let me take a look at the number of samples.
We're on hold at 10 minutes. On hold.
LCC, please.
Yes, ma'am, that's going to be O-CT-004.
Thank you.
We're on hold. 10 minutes. 10 minutes on hold. Just waiting. We're on hold. 10 minutes. 10 minutes.
Yeah, us taking a look at the data right here, looks like that was a single sample.
Yeah, copy that. RFTS does report that they also lost lock for about 5 seconds, so I would love to ask KUS and see if they also lost lock with the vehicle for any extended amount of period.
And COSE, while we're doing that, these are 1/10 hertz measurements, correct? So we would have had to lose it for over 10 seconds to get a second sample?
Yes, sir, that's correct. It is 1/10 hertz.
Yeah, so from our perspective, the allowance is effectively up to 30 seconds, up to 3 samples based on the 1/10 hertz. This is not an LCC violation, I believe.
Yes, sir, I would agree with that at this point. Copy that.
We're checking with KUS on 232. I don't think they have 212 access. We're trying to verify, but...
Come on, just go. Just go. Don't worry about it.
It sounds like they have a loss of lock as well. About 2 seconds.
Okay. And I guess for both KUS and COSE, do we have lock now?
That's affirmed. We do have lock for COSE.
Good. Let's go then. Let's go. Come on.
Yeah, so from the integration console perspective, we did have a temporary loss there within the allowable, and per the requirement, let's go.
And this is the flight. We have lock and we have good telemetry here in GSE.
Start the clock. Start the clock.
And KUS is reported to they have good lock now. So with all of that, OSC, then are we in a go configuration per your LCC?
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Recommendation would be go.
Yeah, let's go then.
You concur with that?
Start
yes,
the clock.
Concurs go.
And launch director?
Yes, sir. Launch director concurs go.
Start the clock.
All right, and I'm going to go ahead and just verify everybody has everything else complete, launch director, and if we do, we'll be ready to pick up the pole at that time, unless there's something else that you're aware of.
No, sir. Let's verify all our work is complete, and I would like one last check of our constraints list.
All right, let's see. OTC, are you still waiting for com config, or are you complete with everything?
Mr. Mazunga,
you only open item?
We're stopped on 10 minutes,
Yeah,
but I think they're going to start. It's all go again. Systems that go again now, but we're still.
Okay, so OTC, you're complete with all your
Time
work?
is locked on 10 minutes.
All right, copy that. STC?
STC is complete.
And GTC?
GTC is complete.
Okay, excellent. All right, and LPE, just want to verify we have no open constraints at this time.
No.
Yes,
open
go.
constraints.
Let's go.
We have a clear board, sir.
Okay, tracking the same here. And launch director, with that, we are clear and ready to pick up the launch readiness pole with your go.
All right, sir. I am go for the pole.
All right. And for all personnel, this is the NTD conducting the Artemis 2 launch readiness check. Verify ready to resume count and go for launch. OTC.
GC is go.
STC.
STC is go.
GTC.
C's go.
Go West is go. Go West is go.
Safety console.
The safety console is go.
LPE.
LPE's go.
RTD.
RTD's go.
Houston flight.
Houston flight is go.
Rock.
Rock is go.
And CDR.
Mr. Mazungu, Go?
Copy that. Thank you, Reed.
Go or not
And
go?
Launch Director NTD, our launch team is ready to proceed at this time.
All right, NTD, I copy all. At this time, I'll perform my poll.
Now forget your poll. Let's just go. Start the clock.
Launch Director performing the final poll for launch. Verify no constraints and go for launch.
Yeah.
EGS, Program Chief Engineer.
Artemis Chief Engineers are go.
Copy, thank you. EGS, Chief Safety Officer.
Start the clock, man.
CSOs are go.
Copy, thank you. Range weather.
Launch weather is go.
Yes.
LWO
Yes.
And
Come on.
Artemis, MMT Chair.
MMTs go.
Thank you, John. And Integrity Launch Director.
Geo says copy free. Go. Let's go.
Charlie PLT. Thank you, Charlie. This is Victor. We are going for our families.
Well done, Victor.
This is Christina. We are going for our teammates.
MF2.
A lot of feedback.
This is Jeremy. We are going for all humanity.
All right, Charlie, your Artemis 2 crew is go for launch. Full send.
Go.
I copy that. Reed, Victor, Christina, and Jeremy. On this historic mission, you take with you the heart of this Artemis team, the daring spirit of the American people and our partners across the globe, and the hopes and dreams of a new generation. Good luck. Godspeed, Artemis 2. Let's go.
Shut up and get on with it.
And into the Launch Director.
Go ahead, Launch Director.
Yes, sir. You have a go to proceed with countdown.
Copy that. I'll put it in work. CDR NTD.
Go.
Figure risers and initiate short codes for your EPROC 10.1.1, steps 8 and 9.
10.1.1, 8 and 9 going to work.
Copy.
Copy,
CBFC
copy,
NTD,
copy.
Start and verify recordings of our Orion cameras.
Copy.
Okay. Well, there you heard it.
RSR NTD.
RSR.
They're getting ready to start terminal count.
arm rotation enable at this time, please.
It's currently at T-minus 10 minutes.
Start the clock. Come
Once
on.
we wrap up
Start the clock.
this last bit of work,
SNA arm rotation enable complete.
we're going to start that clock.
Copy that. Thank you.
Wow, start that clock, baby.
Close and lock visors.
Getting excited. I'm getting all excited.
You heard
Oh,
an
I
issue,
need a fact.
worked in real time with telemetry lock on the Orion. It was transitory. It was very short. They checked the data, confirmed that they had a good lock. This
Good.
was with the S-band transmitter on the Orion. Worked through
Come
that
on.
issue, looked at the data, and cleared it. All with the world watching.
Yeah,
Impressive
we're
work by
watching.
the launch team.
We're watching, mate.
So we have a 2-hour window, which starts in just a few minutes at 6:24 p.m. Eastern Time and goes until 8:24 p.m. Eastern Time.
And ECL NTD will be waiting for your verification on the short purge.
Just go now. Fucking waiting around 2 hours.
And for all personnel, once we get that short purge verification, we'll verify that we are clear to go, and then we'll proceed with the terminal count.
Terminal. I bet they're shitting themselves up in that rocket. I would be.
ECL time estimate?
About a minute.
Copy.
Yeah, it's going to be fine. Don't worry.
So we're going into the launch window, but not by much, it looks like.
Making history here, guys.
Just wrapping up some final work. And once that's completed, you'll hear NASA Test Director Jeff Spaulding ask for the ground launch sequencer operator to go ahead and start the clock. The ground launch sequencer is an application software. It runs on top of the launch control system in the firing room, acts like a conductor of an orchestra, executing hundreds of commands in precise order and timing. It's all autonomous.
NTD CCL 212, short purge initiation verified.
All right, copy that, and we're verifying our constraints. All right, and we're clear from cutouts. And with that, we're going to resume the clock momentarily. And CGLS, you can resume the clock on your mark.
GLS copies. 3, 2, 1, mark. GLS mainline has been initiated.
T-minus 10 minutes and counting.
Yes, here we go.
And that begins terminal count. Our new T0 is 6:35 p.m. Eastern Time. 6:35 p.m. Eastern Time. We are now counting down to liftoff of Artemis 2.
We're going, guys. We're going. We're going to the moon.
From now on, you're going to hear two voices on the loops. If everything goes nominally, NASA Test Director Jeff Spaulding, who's directly managing the launch team.
So it's a bit windy.
The GLS operator who closely monitors the software. He has the ability to stop and restart the countdown.
You better not.
A lot of people ask about whether there's a launch button. There certainly is not.
Flight and Rock, our new T0 is 22:35:12.
Houston flight copies.
That's too windy.
35:12.
Affirm.
There you heard confirmation of the exact T0, 6:35 and 12 seconds p.m. Eastern Time. Again, our T0 is 6:35 and 12 seconds p.m. Eastern Time. But as I was saying, there's no launch button. This is autonomous. But there is a button that keeps you from launching, and that button allows the GLS operator to pause the countdown outside of terminal count and during terminal count and submit a hold.
I can see a big bird.
So
see that big black bird?
Away. If there's an issue, we'll go to the next stable holding point.
What happens if he goes to land on the rocket?
The rocket and ground systems to a stable point where they can stop the countdown if that's needed. But right now, we are counting down. Our next big milestone, looking to retract the crew access arm.
GLS is go for crew access arm retract.
Come on, retract that arm. There she goes. There it goes. Woohoo! Here we go.
That's the path that the astronauts took to ingress into the rocket.
Here we go, guys.
Until this point, that was their way off the pad if they needed to evacuate. But now with that arm retracting, the backup transitions to a launch abort system. And they'll begin arming that shortly.
Can you imagine them knocking on the side like, let me out! Let me out! I want to get
There's
out!
the launch abort system. Great shot there of the crew access arm retracting away. The launch abort system is the tower at the top, and that's what would pull Orion and its crew off the top of the rocket in case of an emergency, whether it's on the ground or in flight.
Fuck that.
This is critical safety hardware that protects the lives of the astronauts.
Yeah, we don't know that yet, do we? It's never been tested. Never been tested.
Starting at T-minus 6 minutes, the GLS will start bringing that and other high-energy systems online, starting with core stage pressurization.
Is that rubbing on her?
weather is 90% go. The range is go.
Let's go then.
All systems are go.
Yes. Yes. That's what I like to hear.
GLS is go for core stage tank pressurization.
That means the replenish valve for the liquid hydrogen tank has now closed, and that tank is beginning to pressurize to flight levels because that hydrogen is naturally boiling inside the tank.
It's 23:30.
Cameraman
We'll get the
shaking.
liquid oxygen tank a little later in the count.
Feel
Now
sorry
the
for
team is
that
waiting for
cameraman there,
verification
man.
if needed. The Artemis 2 crew could use the launch abort system to pull Orion safely off the top of the rocket in an emergency. Let's listen in for that call.
Probably get some lefty in a minute. Like, stop!
GLS
Free!
verifies last capability available.
Free Palestine! Free Palestine!
Copies, last available.
That's great news, and you
waving
heard
a flag.
the ATD verify that with the commander of the mission.
GLS is go for FTS arm.
Now work is being done to arm the flight termination system. This is so the range safety can send a flight termination command if the rocket flies too far off track. There's a brief built-in delay, so the launch abort system has time to pull the astronauts to
GLS is
safety
go for
first.
LH2 high flow bleed check.
All right, the high flow bleed check.
4.5 minutes.
So the cryo team gets verification that the RS-25 engines, all 4 of them, are in the proper temperature range for launch.
Four minutes.
GLS is go for core stage APU start.
Core stage APUs start. Those are auxiliary power units. High-speed turbines which provide pressure to hydraulic pumps that steer the RS-25 engines. We're going to see a gimbal test a little later at T-minus 2 minutes and 30 seconds. This is what
Gimbal.
allows that to happen.
A gimbal test.
Coming up in about 20 seconds, we're listening for go for purge sequence 4. That's a helium purge of the 4 core stage engines downstream of the propellant valve. This gets all the air and moisture out of there.
GLS is go for purge sequence 4.
Moving through the milestones. All is looking good.
Here we go, guys.
Coming up in just a few seconds, we're going to get that thrust vector control actuator test. This is a gimbaling of the engines. There are the 4 RS-25s, 3 of them Shuttle Heritage, 1 of them built from shuttle parts.
Second hand.
There you see them moving.
Built from crap from the scrapyard. Come on, let's go. Don't you dare stop it now.
Now we're going to start moving the power from both the upper stage and the lower stage of the rocket to internal, taking ground power away and now going to battery power.
GLS is go for upper stage to internal power.
All right, power is removed from the rocket's upper stage, the ICPS, and it's been switched to battery. Same milestone for the lower core stage coming up at T-minus 1 minute and 30 seconds. Right now, the 4-person Artemis 2 crew is 248,000 miles away from the moon. And if all goes well, they will fly by it in 6 days.
GLS is go for core stage to internal power.
All right, there's the rocket's core stage, which houses 3 flight computers, is now on its own power.
God, it's really close
No more
now.
hold time because there's no more margin on these batteries. So we would have to recycle back to T-minus 10 to recharge.
Here we
if had
go.
hold.
Here we go. 1 minute coming up. 1 minute.
1 minute.
Right now, the rocket does not know what the T0 is, but coming up at T-minus 33 seconds, control shifts from the ground launch sequencer to the rocket's onboard autonomous launch sequencer, or ALS. The rocket will count itself down, but honor any holds that could come from the ground. Now, shortly after liftoff, Houston will take control of the rocket, and my colleague Gary Jordan will take over commentary.
Oh my God.
Go for ALS.
Great call out. The rocket is on its own. 4 brave explorers ready to ride the most powerful rocket
Come on, let's go for it.
NASA has ever launched.
Reed Wiseman, Victor Glover,
Sound suppression water is flowing.
Christina Koch, and Jeremy Hansen. Come on.
10, 9, 8, 7. RS-25 engines lit. 4, 3, 2, 1. Booster ignition. And liftoff.
We're off, we're off, we're off.
Crew of Artemis 2 now bound for the moon.
Oh, look at that,
Great
man.
voyage begins.
Oh my God. Go on, my son. Go on.
Houston now controlling the flight of integrity on the Artemis.
Don't you dare explode now. Keep going.
Integrity, AMT high.
AMT high. On time passing 30 seconds into the flights. Integrity passes the alternate MECO. Target milestone. Mission Control Houston seeing good performance on 4 main engines. Space Launch System core stage. Integrity, 3 miles in altitude.
3 miles.
More than 1,200 miles per hour.
Fucking hell, man. Fuck's sake. Look at that. Come on. Go on.
Mission elapsed time, passing 1 minute, approaching max Q.
On, Ponce de Leon.
Stan, we have you loud and clear on Ponce de Leon.
Fuck. That looks insane, man. That looks insane.
Communication signal transport confirmed as Integrity and its crew go supersonic. Approaching 90 seconds into the Artemis 2 mission. Integrity is 14 miles in altitude, 8 miles downrange, traveling more than 2,600 miles per hour.
Holy shit.
Minute 50 seconds of mission elapsed time, standing by for main engine throttle down to 85%, ahead of solid rocket booster separation, expected at the 2-minute 9-second mark. We see throttle down. Confirmed separation. Main engines throttling up, guidance converged.
Wow.
Integrity, guidance converged, performance nominal, upper stage RCS ready.
Copy all, Stan.
Integrity, SM priming complete.
SM priming complete.
2 minutes 45 seconds of mission elapsed time into the Artemis 2 mission. Thrusters on Integrity and upper stage confirmed in a ready state, ahead of service module fairing separation. Minutes into the flight. Integrity, 49 miles in altitude, 78 miles downrange, now passing 5,000 miles per hour.
What was that? Someone fell off.
Standing by for launch abort system jettison.
There's a lot of pieces out there.
Integrity, good last jettison, great view.
Copy jettison, Team Eco 8+02.
Wow, look at that.
We see you sail on board, Stan.
And Houston has you loud and clear on Tidris at the Kármán line.
Outstanding, Stan. We have you the same.
3 minutes 50 seconds into the flight of Artemis 2, Wiseman, Glover, Cook, and Hansen cross the boundary to space with good comm checks. GPS signals acquired after last jettison now working on internal checks to verify accuracy. Flight Dynamics Officer analyzed the time of main engine cutoff, confirmed at 8 minutes 2 seconds, time of MECO.
Integrity, GPS processing.
Look outside, you see it to the south of the UK.
We have a beautiful moonrise. We're headed right at it.
You go outside and have a look. I'm not going outside.
Approaching 5 minutes into the flight, Commander Reed Wiseman confirms he has visuals of his destination. GPS guidance, navigation, and control software finishes internal checks and sends to navigation channels.
Integrity, 3 engine press.
3 engine press.
On time, now passing 5 minutes 20 seconds of mission elapsed time into the Artemis 2 mission. At this point, 3 good main engines are all that's needed to carry Integrity to a nominal main engine cutoff target.
Wow.
At this time, we're seeing 4 good engines here in Mission Control Houston. Integrity, 75 miles in altitude, 330 miles downrange, approaching 10,000 miles per hour.
$10,000 miles an hour, guys.
Integrity, looking good at 6 minutes.
They're not in space yet, are they?
Forward, Stan.
10 minutes. 10 minutes, I think it takes
Good
to get into
trajectory
space.
and engine performance. Booster officer will soon report the shutdown plan to Flight Director Judd Friedling, expected at the 7-minute mark. Integrity, 78 miles in altitude, 460 miles downrange.
Integrity, expect nominal shutdown.
Integrity copies nominal shutdown.
Six minutes 40 seconds of mission elapsed time. Shutdown plan is as expected. Again, the time of MECO was confirmed at 8 minutes 2 seconds into the flight. Seven minutes of mission elapsed time. Throttling down as we approach the abort once around option. Milestone at the 7-minute 30-second mark. Now 84 miles in altitude, 650 miles downrange, traveling more than 15,000 miles per hour.
Integrity, AOA open.
AOA open.
The window is now open for an abort once around option that would target splashdown in the Pacific Ocean. Still following nominal ascent at this time. About 10 seconds remaining until the main engine cutoff of the Space Launch System core stage. Standing by for confirmation of MECO and core stage separation.
Integrity and nominal MECO, core stage separated.
We see the same on board, Stan.
8 minutes 40 seconds into the flight, we have a nominal main engine cutoff heading in the right trajectory on the way to swing around the moon. Core stage has separated, done its job. The Space Launch System upper stage, the Inner Rim Cryogenic Propulsion Stage, or ICPS, still attached to the Orion spacecraft. Nine minutes of mission elapsed time. Integrity crew of Reed Wiseman, Victor Glover, Christina Cook, and Jeremy Hansen now in orbit around the Earth at the beginning of their journey to the moon.
Integrity Houston, looking ahead to PRM numbers so far per the pad.
Copy that, Stan. Numbers for the pad.
Capcom Stan Loves now reminding the crew that the perigee raise maneuver time of ignition is as expected prior to booster ignition. That time being 49 minutes, 50 seconds of mission elapsed time.
So guys, we're going to stay with it just for a couple more minutes, and maybe we'll pick it up again later.
Integrity, good. Neds deploy.
That was quite intense, wasn't it? Wow.
Copy that, Stan. Good, Neds.
And Integrity Houston for PWD setup. Just a reminder, halfway open on the secondary.
We copy that, Stan. Halfway open.
Wow.
Passing 11 minutes of mission elapsed time. Here, overhearing the conversation between Capcom Stan Love and Commander Reed Wiseman, already passing some milestones. We have a good nozzle extension deployment system. That is confirmed, complete. We also have the visors are confirmed up, now past the dynamic phase of flight that is Ascent. Their launch and entry suits that provided them an extra layer of protection. Now not as needed. They're going to raise those visors. And later in today's mission, they will begin to egress or get out of the suits to begin some of their initial tasks of activating some of the systems aboard in the Integrity spacecraft.
First thing I would need.
Passing 12 minutes of mission elapsed time. Again, the perigee raise maneuver that's targeted near 50 minutes of mission elapsed time, 49 minutes, 50 seconds. That's what the crew is going to be working towards. The Commander Reed Wiseman, pilot Victor Glover will focus on preparing for that milestone.
I think the main one is
mission specialist Christina Cook and Jeremy Hansen will start some of the activation of environmental control life support systems. You may hear confirmation of their activation over the Orion to Earth communication network.
Is it Artemis 3 or 4 is going to be the one that lands on the moon? 2028 or 2029?
2 minutes to maneuver.
Work needed. I have to admit, yeah, there is work needed. Yeah, I must admit that.
13 minutes and 30 seconds of mission elapsed time. We're going to continue to follow the crew of the Artemis 2 mission They are beginning their journey around the moon to verify the systems that will take us to its surface. An incredible ascent. Artemis 2 is underway. Reed Wiseman, Victor Glover, Christina Cook, and Jeremy Hansen begin their journey to the moon. Still milestones to come up as we await solar array deploy and the critical burns that will get Integrity into high Earth orbit around the Earth before engines are fired to get us around the moon. We'll keep tabs on Integrity and its crew from here in Mission Control Houston. But for now, we're going to send it back to you, Megan and Nicole at the Kennedy Space Center. Very jealous to hear how...
Thank you, Houston. Thank you very much. Cheers, Houston.
Yeah, Gary, if people are just joining us, welcome back to the Space Coast where we just saw Artemis 2 lift off.
If people are just joining us, you missed it all. You missed it all, guys. You joined too late. You missed it.
You had tears in your eyes, I had tears in my eyes, and we had all these people around us cheering. It was amazing.
Yeah, the energy was wonderful. I mean, it was
all those people, it was about 20 people there.
Friends and family members headed to the moon. It's pretty amazing.
Yeah, how does that make you feel as someone who, is an astronaut as well, but also, as you said, friend?
Yeah, so proud of them. You know, man, we don't have the words in the English language to describe this kind of an event and pride.
We do in England.
You know, they are truly breaking some barriers, and hopefully, as Gary just said, they've got a long day ahead of them, so wishing them well on everything, but so far, what a beautiful launch to watch.
Yeah, to be returning to the lunar orbit in more than 50 years. Maybe they go farther from Earth than any other humans before them. Maybe they see parts of the moon that we've never seen before. I mean, what a great start to what could be all of these milestones that we break in just a 10-day mission.
Yes, what a way to welcome in the Artemis generation.
Yeah, how do you feel? I mean, we saw some beautiful shots we were covering of course, the rocket, of course, the Earth falling away as we continued up.
It's still there. I can see it behind them. Look, can you see it?
Young and old, just
still there, guys.
Overcome by this history-making moment.
It's fake.
We were going back to the moon for
Look.
all, and we saw that today. We saw
show you
that
where
in
it
all
is.
the crowds, and yeah, you guys just saw that view, the sunrise or sunset. I guess they just made it over the crest of the Earth, and you could see the sun.
Can you see that there?
One of my favorite views.
That's
from
it,
space,
isn't it?
And I can't imagine what they're looking at now, and I can't wait to see what they're looking at in about 5 or 6 days.
Yeah, and I know a lot of people are like, you know what, I'm surprised this launched on
There
the first
it
time,
is.
because we know, like any little thing, we have
Still
to
there.
be keeping safety in mind, and we want to make sure we're ready to go. But we're ready to go, and I think it surprised a lot of people. What a wonderful surprise on this Wednesday evening.
It did, and it kind of surprised me as well, but it's just a testament to the team here that has been working so hard on Artemis. Artemis 1, we learned a ton of lessons. We learned a ton from the wet dress for Artemis 2. We were able to go in, fix those things. We even had a couple mishaps today, not mishaps, but a couple, anomalies today that the team creatively came up with solutions for. It's just a testament to the teamwork that gets us to the moon.
And so we can continue to watch Christina, Reed, Victor, and Jeremy on their way now to the moon in Earth's orbit and awaiting the next in-flight milestones, deploying Orion's solar arrays. So why don't we get back in with Mission Control and Gary.
Hey, thank you, Megan. Again, we're following along in the action. It is a long day. They have a number of procedures they need to get to immediately in their timeline.
And Integrity Houston, cross-tie is on board per the FCDEM. We copy Houston, thank you.
I'll be back in about 10 minutes, guys. Right, about 10 minutes.
Cross-tie referring to flight controllers here initiating a connection between some of the batteries aboard the Orion spacecraft, allowing for an even distribution of power. This is the flight control teams that took us through Ascent of the Artemis 2 mission today. Right now we're, as you see, passing 18 minutes of mission elapsed time. The Orion spacecraft Integrity and the interim cryogenic propulsion system are maneuvering tail to sun. It is in this orientation, this attitude.
Integrity, any words on that momentary prop caution? And Reed, no action, we're looking at it.
Commander Reed Wiseman verifying what is being routed to his displays aboard Integrity. Propulsion engineer confirming that no action is needed at this time. They're pressing through with their nominal procedures to prepare for the perigee raise maneuver. And of course, the solar array wing deploy ahead of that. The solar wing deploy is a critical milestone. We'll continue to have our coverage follow the mission until that deployment. A successful launch is just the beginning. The deployment of the solar arrays and successful confirmation that those solar array wings are drawing power is a significant milestone, and says to the flight control teams that we will continue on today's mission. Power needs to be drawn to continue through some of the next milestones. Until then, the AOA open option that was called up upon ascent, the aboard once around, is the current option, and aboard to orbit option ATO will be switched to a preferred mode at the time that the solar array wings are deployed and latched. It gives the flight control teams a little bit more flexibility.
Integrity Houston, update on TDRS handover for your pad. Give us just 1 minute. And Stan, you can read it. Ike is ready to copy. Roger. TDRS handover east to west expected 1 second earlier at 5:1 minutes 26 seconds.
Hi, Stan. We copy 1 second earlier for 5126 TDRS east to west, and saws are starting to deploy. Thermal knives are firing.
We concur. Thanks for the report.
Read back of the reports that you just heard on the Orion to Earth network. Integrity has maneuvered tail to sun. The RL-10 nozzle on the end of the ICPS is pointed towards the sun, and the solar array deployment sequence has begun. With the deployment confirmed, it'll be several minutes until they are what is called in a latched position. Once they are latched and confirmed to be drawing power, they can switch the mode to ATO and continue along the mission. The teacher's handover at the pad, that message meant the crew was provided some preliminary numbers of when to expect handovers between the tracking and data relay satellites. Currently orbiting Earth at an altitude of 545 statute miles above the Earth, they are in a near-Earth network communication system. The tracking and data relay satellites, geosynchronous satellites that are stationed about 23,000 miles above the Earth. After the apogee raise burn that occurs later today, the burn itself will put them in an altitude that surpasses the range of the tracking and data relay satellites, and they will transition to the deep space network today.
And Integrity, for prop messages, we see 2 temperature measurements right near the line. It's that momentary message you saw earlier. We're going to suppress those. It's CM helium heater 2 T1 and heater 1 T1. They're going suppressed. Integrity, thank you. We see the same.
They have a problem. I think they have a problem.
This is Mission Control Houston, passing 23 minutes of mission elapsed time into the Artemis 2 mission. This is after a launch that began at 5:35 and 12 seconds Central Time, 6:35 and 12 seconds p.m. Eastern Time. Right now, the orientation you're seeing from our aero visualization that translates some of the telemetry that we're getting from the spacecraft and puts it into a model so you can follow along on some of the milestones that we are following here. The RL-10 nozzle that you see at the left end of your screen, though it is currently not firing, that nozzle is pointed towards the sun, and the solar arrays are currently deploying. From this visualization, they look fully stowed in a position.
Integrity, we are happy to report that Jeremy has the O2 sensors on.
Copy O2 sensors.
Again, Commander Reed Wiseman and pilot Victor Glover overseeing the deployment of the solar arrays.
It's 0 hours.
And we'll follow the attitude maneuver changes ahead of the first burn of the ICPS engine, the perigee raise maneuver.
Integrity Houston, we see 4 saws deployed and latched, ready for ATO preferred.
Yeah, we're almost there in the procedure stand, and we see the same thing.
And Integrity Houston, we are seeing a 7-second miscompare between the MET on Orion and ICPS. We'd like you to read us the MET from your center status bar and for the ICPS on StackSum.
And Stan, we see a absolutely precise alignment. MET 25, 14, 15, 16, precisely aligned with ICPS MET.
Copy, thank you for that. We'll investigate a ground issue.
And Houston Integrity, ATO preferred set.
Copy, ATO preferred.
This is Mission Control Houston, 25 minutes, 45 seconds into the flight of Artemis 2. We have confirmation that all 4 solar array wings are deployed and latched. This is the configuration needed to switch to ATO preferred, which you did hear confirmed from pilot Victor Glover. That mode has been switched. There's also a discussion with
Dave Toby thinks it's fake.
Commander Reed Wiseman about the alignment of the MET clocks.
I don't think it's fake. I think that was real. Yeah. It looked pretty real to me.
Reed Wiseman confirmed the clocks are
very
sync,
intense.
No issues. They're going to investigate it on the ground. We're proceeding with today's mission. 26 minutes of mission elapsed time and counting.
So, when is oh, it's not working. Why is it not working? Oh, it is. Why? When is Elon Musk getting involved? Because he's going to.
This is Mission Control Houston. We're approaching 28 minutes of mission elapsed time into the Artemis 2 mission.
He's getting involved
At this
as
point,
well
we've
soon.
had a successful liftoff from the pad at 5:35 p.m. and 12 seconds p.m. Central Time, 6:35 and 12 seconds p.m. Eastern Time. We've had a good main engine cutoff, core stage separation, and a good trajectory to begin today's mission. Right now, the spacecraft has maneuvered tail to sun. We're standing by for another maneuver to maneuver into the burn attitude. This is where the RL-10 engine of the ICPS is pointed in the correct orientation for the perigee raise maneuver. We did hear confirmation that the perigee raise maneuver time of ignition has been confirmed per the pad, which means it was the predicted time prior to liftoff.
Integrity for G and C, we're taking channel 1 to unfiltered and to BFS.
Okay, Stan, we're watching. Go ahead.
Capcom Stan Love reading up to the crew of Integrity. They will switch the navigation source from channel 1, standing by for confirmation that that switch has occurred. Pilot Victor Glover will receive confirmation when, and as at least watching to confirm that that switch has occurred. Again, the perigee raise maneuver that we're heading towards, not too long from now, we're actually inside 20 minutes at this time from the time of ignition of the perigee raise maneuver.
So the 4 astronauts on board.
A successful deployment and launched of all 4 solar array wings. This is the configuration needed to commit to the perigee raise maneuver. Of course, flight controllers here in Mission Control Houston will continue to evaluate that everything is good before committing to that burn. The perigee raise maneuver does raise the perigee, the lowest point in the orbit, from 15 to 100 nautical miles. The 100 nautical mile mark is needed to continue in low Earth orbit and hit the target for the apogee raise burn. That will put them in a high Earth orbit for the remainder of the day and set them up for the right position to execute the translunar injection and head to the moon tomorrow. The burn duration of the perigee raise maneuver is 26 seconds. A relatively short burn, but it does raise the perigee and do the job to get into the correct position before firing that main engine on the ICPS. The pad had a TDRS handover. This is the tracking and data relay satellites. East to west, they are geosynchronous satellites that are positioned around the globe, and as Orion makes its way around the Earth right now above the west coast of Africa at an altitude of about 923 statute miles and counting. The perigee raise maneuver is not executed at the perigee. It is rather executed on the actually closer to the apogee. But what it does is it raises the perigee at the other end of the orbit to 100 nautical miles.
So guys, the commander of this rocket is Reed Wiseman. The pilot is Victor Glover. The mission specialist is Christina Koch. And Jeremy Hansen is from the Canadian Space Agency.
That time of handover is 51 minutes, 26 seconds. Plenty of margin before the perigee raise maneuver cutoff happens, and the trajectory is analyzed to see whether it was a good burn. A good burn means that the burn was performed as expected and sets the trajectory on course for that 100 nautical mile perigee target mark. Again, for those sticking with us on NASA Plus and following along on our coverage, we will continue to follow and to cover the mission until, actually, we'll continue to cover the mission 24/7.
Okay, guys. I'm going to wrap up the stream now. It's quite exhilarating. That it's quite impressive. Very not stressful, but very like what's the word? I can't think of the word. It's too late for me. So yeah, it's quite late now. So I'm going to be back on again tomorrow evening, or to do an update, quick live, see how they're getting on. But if there's anything that happens in the meantime, I will come on in as an impromptu live. So make sure you hit the notification bell. Well, subscribe first. Hit the notification bell. You won't miss anything then. And thanks for watching, everyone. Thanks for everyone who's taken part. Special thanks to Captain Obes. Thank you, Captain Obes. You know what for. Thank you very much. Thanks for your wit and humour, Mr. Geo3PO. Mr. Mzungu, thanks for being here, mate. Thanks for all your intelligence in the chat. Cheers, Drive. And that's it, really, I suppose. So I'll see you all tomorrow. Thanks, guys. See you later.